No, it's just extremely weird. Good
Yeah.
morning,
Yeah.
Magadam Po and Mayan Butak Tog in a
What?
box and a frog on a rock.
What the
Hey,
heck?
what's up? Um, of course, strangely, for the last year or two, we have some sort of weird intro or music video intros or something. We were trying to get additional information for today's live in regard to the American vlogger vanishing, and we have to say vanishing because who knows? The guy could be Houdini. I don't know.
I.
But
Yeah.
either way, somebody's Houdini out there right now, and the Philippines, it's a mystery right now. But we do want to say that for the sake of some people that have been watching, that this is a group discussion, a topic, an alleged possible maybe could happen, what we've been reading throughout the forums, talking to people, sitting down with people, type of information. So we're bringing to you what we've actually found out. What we were trying to do this morning was confirm some stuff from Vermont. The same as the last guy that had the Cebu issue with the rapper and everything. We have found out additional information. We're not going to release that. So, weirdly, CNN and some of the big networks have finally broadcasted that the kid is missing. Like some of the local news, ABC in Florida, and some other small channels were broadcasting it. The U.S. Embassy has made small statements in regards to the kid, but usually they don't. And of course, we all know the FBI, the local attache unit that I think stays in different offices here and around the world have actually arrived. So we're going to bring you some videos here in a few minutes. We're going to read some clips like what's been going on. We have some clips we put together. I had another one, but actually, technically, George was editing it. It basically is just some of his clips. A lot of you have been through his YouTube channel, Elliot Eastman. He has TikTok, everything. All of his life is public. Okay, there's no additional what you would call doxing or going into his life. He said he was a public vlogger. He has put all of his family members, which, like children and stuff, of course, you should always leave out of it. But he has publicly displayed his life, you know, to be shown. So, our channel has never gone into paying for information, going to immigration and searching things up or talking to people or paying for information. We don't do that. So I just want to let, the group know. And we have included his channel in the description if you guys would like to go see his vlog. So take it away
Well.
there, baby boo. And we're going to open the panel. So
Again, with all due respect to Eastman, again, I don't know. It's
I hope
um.
I hope that bonehead comes up alive. And no, just did I call
Now.
him a bonehead again? No, we have children that are that age, and depending on where you put it, we also have grandchildren. Now they're not that old, but our hearts do go out to the family. In all seriousness, we've released statements on Facebook and here that we really do hope that the
Right. Now, that's what I mean. With all due respect to Eastman, be aware that if you go to his channel, his videos are somewhat um awkward. And what I mean by that is, honestly, you probably won't understand what I'm talking about unless you sit and watch his videos.
mm,
It feels like you ever had that situation where you're stuck in a room with somebody and they don't talk to you and you have nothing to tell them and they just fidget around. That's what his vlogs are. They're very awkward. Now, the reason why I brought this up is because that is an indication of something.
yeah,
Now, what that something is,
neurological
I don't
or
know. I'm not a medical
nope.
professional, you know what I'm saying? But there's something off and there's something wrong. And I'm not, again, judging the guy, but from experience, when somebody behaves a certain way, maybe needing some,
Or maybe not.
Adderall or something, or maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Right, right. That's
Maybe
what I
not.
mean. Again, I'm not a
Maybe.
medical professional. I don't know. This part is
You were
speculation.
diagnosing me this morning.
Oh, I did
You
that all the
said you
time.
crazy bit, and I'm like,
Yep. I
diagnosis
said
again?
take your meds.
Dick-
Take your meds.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, it's not the first. We, watch some of the, bigger channels, and we've been talking to people again, reading things. So I'll just leave it at that, and I'll just say what we've been, discussing is there's something definitely broken with the kid. And 1 minute you'll see him dancing, he's singing. He plays the guitar. I just found guitar footage again where, first we ran out of time putting together some clips, but it seemed those last days were dark. He did 9 live streams the day he disappeared at 11 o'clock at night. Let me read some of these articles before we get into the comment. All right, so the most recent one that came out, let's see, last night it said that it was an hour where to post, so now it's actually been overnight. So this is 6-7 hours old. GMA says still no proof of life, which is for me the fact that the Philippines announced, hey, no proof of life, no request for money. It's kind of what we said almost on the first day, that what's up, they're not asking for money. So the taking of the American vlogger in Zamboanga del Norte, it said that also the FBI is looking into the vlogger Eastman being taken in Zamboanga del Norte. Again, they have the attaché. So the FBI is now looking into the taking of the American vlogger Elliot Eastman, who was reported to have been taken by 4 guys. And by the way, we have some clips where it shows that he said, hey, is that 4 guys over there with a weapon? But I guess later on the vlog, which not everybody's seen, I was informed that he'd seen spear fishermen, but that's not clear to everybody. So I just want to let you know that he mentioned there were 4 people, but he was always paranoid. But anyways, it said that somebody announced himself as law enforcement, and they actually came in the house and they actually took him. He struggled. He was injured. They put him into a boat, and then they actually took him away. And we'll be showing the clips. For the most part, the U.S. Embassy said that it will continue to work with local authorities to search for him. They're monitoring the situation. They will not provide details to the news right now, which they probably never will. A lot of things you guys don't realize go quiet here in the Philippines. There's a lot more things that go on. As a matter of fact, you're probably not even hearing about the people that are taken and released because they were settled, like the negotiations were settled. Because I think a few people forgot that, like at the very beginning of the pandemic, there was 1 or 2 other cases that happened. One was a Japanese or Chinese businessman. That's where the gang of girls needed surgeries and they grabbed on to a couple businessmen, and the other one was an actual couple. I don't know if they were Canadian but a lot of these just go away. But I really feel that being he's a vlogger and called himself a YouTuber and he's been putting content out, and now they're mixing in that he married a Muslim woman and that it's in a specific area, which we'll show you the maps. I did get some Google Earth maps to show you the area and give you guys a feel for what's going on. Like it'll show like how much of it is like nothing. There's like nothing there unless you get to a specific area. Most of it is isolated. It'll even show you where there's a few hotels, and it's a big area, but it's just it's not a whole lot going on there, but it is a danger zone, a hot zone. When a U.S. citizen is missing, the embassy says we work closely with local authorities and we make an effort to keep the lines of communication open with the family. And the Department of State has no higher priority than the welfare and safety of the U.S. citizens abroad. And remember, this is what everybody, I believe them, but what I see with my own eyes, and hear from other people here or that's been in other countries abroad, it's kind of like just a political statement, in my opinion, because there's a lot of homeless here that are in bad shape, like medically sick, laying in beds. Other Filipinos are taking care of them. There's a lot going on. So if that was so, then a lot of them wouldn't be pushed away while they're banging on the doors of the U.S. Embassy in Manila saying, hey, I need help. As a matter of fact, um, there was a statement from his family um, that, and this was just a day or two ago, she was trying to get a hold of him and could not get her phone call through to the U.S. Embassy to get information, and that was his mother. So I'm sure somebody's arrived over there. Maybe not. People always have the highest assumption that things go like a NBC nightly movie or something, like, like it's all written in moviehood or something, but it's actually not. It says the Pro 9 said earlier reported that 4 men took Eastman from his in-laws' house. And there's different stories out. Some say it was from their personal place. Others have said it's from the in-laws' house in Sibuco around 11 o'clock at night. We've also heard 10 o'clock at night on October 17th. I've heard 2 or 3 vloggers that are in the U.S. and small channels. I have to mention they're small. It looks like they just opened their channel. They got like 300 views. Some opened them up just for this. They said it was the 18th. And so they said that he resisted, but then was injured, brought to a boat, which then headed for the high seas. In previous vlogs, he talked about not being liked in the area, saying that they want bad things to happen to me, and that people have been informing his family that they are in advance. He's been announcing in advance that they are going to take him, which to me is odd. Okay, which is going to bring up a whole nother can of worms of the possibilities of what we've been saying. So when we did our first vlog, or our live stream, we said, hey, this is going on, that's going on, and he's doing the loans with people, which is that we'll go through that. He is married to a Filipino woman. And let's see, I'm trying to find the part where his mother said he couldn't get through some of that. Let's see. Right here, Julia, and I'll announce the mother's name. It's in the newspaper, so don't everybody, oh my God, they're doxing the family. Bite me. Julia Eastman, Elliot's mother, told which is a big television station here, and this is as of yesterday, told her that they have been trying to call the U.S. Embassy and that no one, I want you to verify it, that no one has contacted them yet. This was yesterday. I thought it was 2 days ago. No, they also tried to call the U.S. Embassy in Manila, but they could not get a hold of anybody. And that is also very hard to get through to the U.S. Embassy here. No one has reached out to me. I called the U.S. Embassy with no luck, the mother said. We are all praying, she said. Eastman, who is from Hinesburg, Vermont. By the way, we must retract that we said that he was a, what type of delivery driver? His actual Facebook says that he is not a Grab driver. He's an Uber food. He says it's an Uber.
Eats.
Right. So at some point it said that he was not Grubhub, but what is the DoorDash? That he was a DoorDasher. Now, maybe he's also an Uber driver. All we know is that he's a driver, which means that he's working for himself. So I do want to correct that. Eastman is from Hinesburg, Vermont. He's been living in Zamboanga del Norte for almost a year after marrying a local resident. Now, there is still some mystery around why he initially arrived there, because it's not the first time that he came here. He left, went back, made money, came back and married her. They said he's been married 5 months. He only had known her for a few months when he got married, so they're saying it's under a year. But he did meet another girl on Facebook, went to that exact same area because she said she locked eyes. There was a whole sit down on Facebook where he did how we met. It wasn't a YouTube video. And they had a full conversation how she wanted to go, like she wanted to travel like him and do all these things. And she says you should tell people about what happened. So basically she was trying to let the cat out of the bag. The only word I caught was transgender, and which I told George, she maybe said meant to say trans something, and it kind of, but either way, something went wrong. It was said in an article that I can no longer find that something went really whack, like money disappearing, and he was practically broke at that point. He makes enough money and goes and travels. He's been seen in several countries, several, and he does a lot of traveling, and I guess that's what he actually does. He knew about his safety, and we have some footage of where the government said, weirdly, we told him. So I don't know why specifically. Maybe there's some sort of, is there like some sort of barricades before they hit that area where they tell him, hey dude, don't go, because there has to be something, because it says we told Eastman not to go, and he still insisted on being there. So they said they're retracting the Americans in that area. I seen one vlogger, I don't know what his name is, that just did something about his 13A and his wife, and he almost got denied due to an age gap or something. There was like a 40-year age gap, that they had asked him to leave to go to his in-laws. So they are asking the Americans in that region to actually leave. Here's the thing, you know, should the, families, I mean, if they're like in that region, like in northern Mindanao or something, do you actually leave or not? And I want to make the clear statement, since I've been here, I feel safe. But I'm not a fool to go down there, right there where I could be taken to the Sulu area or something, and take a couple-hour boat ride to go over there and eat grub worms for the next month.
Well, actually, it's not necessarily northern Mindanao. It's scattered all over Mindanao.
No, what I'm saying is that they're telling people in all that specific region to leave, even the ones in northern. What I'm saying is it, really necessary? Or, I mean, many, many, many vloggers and other social media has said it's like certain areas of different countries. You just
Yeah, there's
don't.
certain areas of Mindanao, and that's why I keep repeating on the Mindanao thing. Because remember, Surigao is part of Mindanao. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, Brian is there, and he's safe. You know what I'm saying? He is in one of those safer areas. So again,
That's right. They do consider Surigao. At one
Surigao
point
is
it
Mindanao.
was. Yeah.
Now that's the thing. That's why I said, and Davao City, and a
It
lot
was
of
very
you
sad.
are in Davao City, and they said, "Oh, this is the safest place in the Philippines." Right. No, again, Mindanao again is. We're not saying all of Mindanao. We're just saying certain areas of Mindanao, which you are not aware of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm. How's that coffee? Do you need some oil?
You and your oil. Now,
Mm.
going back to his mental state, because again, the reason why I brought it up in the first place is because this opens a lot of doors to a lot of possibilities, extra doors, as it were. And
Yeah,
and you're like, what are you talking about? Now I'm gonna
that was this morning. They said border control is up. Of course it is.
Yeah.
And it's going to, whatever's left of any tourism in that area is probably, it's probably gone. I listened to Brian Philly in the Philippines live stream, great live stream. And like he said, if that happened in that area, it'd have been, if somebody would even consider it in that area, that would be an actual issue, and they would have shut that shop down really quick. But in an isolated area over there, so many possibilities. But anyways, I was just showing him the new article.
So, like I said, back to his mental state. The reason being this is important is because I'm gonna change one of the words that sounds like dynamite into concussive, because again, there's certain things that certain algorithms don't like. So anyway,
sorry, I'm trying to
now concussive device phishing, okay, is legal in most countries. USA in particular, okay. Obviously, you can't use, TNT to fish. Here in the Philippines, it's the same way. You're not allowed to do that. But guess what? From his own thing, Eastman's vlogs, he basically showed that his family is doing this to fish.
Right, they were creating small.
Right, they create small
pumpkins.
concussive device,
Yeah.
devices, correct, to fish. Okay, again, it's illegal in the U.S. Okay, the reason why I said that is because Eastman is from the U.S. It's illegal here. I'm saying that because obviously he's here and his family, his in-laws are doing it. Now you're like, okay, what are you getting at, George? He vlogged this and showed the device on YouTube. Okay, so he's basically saying like, hey, my in-laws are doing something illegal. Come look at this.
Oh, snap.
So what I'm getting at is, if he is a danger to himself and his own family, his own in-law family, then he's basically a loose cannon. What I'm saying is, you can't trust the guy because he'll blur out anything. He'll say anything.
Well, I didn't know, like, when this story came out, Sunshine had covered it. We had read some, it literally was the night before, and I made joke that, hey, I wasn't going to spend up half the night reading every article or, his stuff that he put out because he's got a lot of blank videos where he's just really sitting there in the dark of a sorry store eating noodles. And I was like, I can't do this. We'll just see what articles, and we, talked about him the next day. Now we've been through his different stuff that he actually has, and he's traveled a lot of places. So, and he's been with other men. So it seems to be, we can't say that it's a passport brother movement that somebody called it, because I don't think a lot of people try to refer that to them out looking for women. I think it's just a movement of guys that travel, and sometimes they do it in packs of guys, and it's just kind of like a college thing, in my opinion. But he's done a lot of that. But here's the thing: they're dangerous countries. He was just in, I think, um, Libya or something. He's been going to some weird areas. He's been to he likes the danger tourism, in my opinion. I can go through. I don't know who's all been through the articles with him, but it actually, they're all dangerous areas of Africa. I think it's Liberia that he was in, and he said that the police. He actually left a comment on one of his shorts on his channel that said that the police are. I can't say the word. Cut, cupped. Um, I can't say, but basically, here he is going to one of the worst areas for something like this to happen, and then this happens. But he seems to like the danger tourism, in my opinion. And then add in there that there is something, I would say, neurologically damaged. I'm not a doctor, but some of his actions of that he actually does show there's something off. But he is also young, dumb, and full of peanuts.
Oh my gosh, where's the baby oil?
You leave the baby oil alone.
Oh, you're telling me to leave the baby oil alone.
I don't know why this will not open up.
Now, also his mental state. Also, again, if that is, again, keep in mind this is all speculation at this point. If it's true that there's, I mean, he could be a highly functional autistic person.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm not a medical professional, but what I'm saying is, either way, he obviously has certain things that don't exist as far as the filter is concerned, whether it's safety or.
Dude, don't give away all your pearls of speech here before you run these next clips and stuff,
Oh,
because
okay.
there's so
Which
much
one?
more information that's actually out there. We're going to run two of these articles that we put together of information. Uh-oh. I think there is one missing. 1 second here. 1 second here. There was one more.
But it's not cleaned up though.
This one is.
You sure?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and.
Well, I mean, I built this waiting shed too. That costed like $15,000 just for this waiting shed, and the roof and everything. See, it's pretty nice.
He was talking about how much money he was spending. That's the sorry store he says he owns.
Alone just on this waiting shed, I'm pretty sure. And then on the solar, the Wi-Fi and the solar, think I spent a total like 130K or something, maybe 120. Yeah, 130K, 130,000 pesos. Like being scared here.
His voice too.
Gee, come on. This was our days like today. The guy we lent money to, he returned our money. When we lent him 21,400 and he came back with 23,500. Some little extra. We sent him back with 35K. Yeah. Should we see a little bit extra profit off of this? Maybe in 1 month we'll have already 3,500 profits. You know, business. I wish this guy had a gun. Some sort. There's like so many of them. There's like 4 of them. 4 people there.
Okay. Now, what he's referring to is part of his business is what way they call here is 5/6.
Which could be his biggest issue over all things.
Yeah, loan sharking, basically. Which,
and we announced that a couple days ago.
Right now, the problem with 5/6ers, it doesn't matter what nationality you are. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter what nationality, what sexuality, what you're, whatever you are. If you do a 5/6, you're in danger. In fact, like recently, again, a couple got ex-nayed because 5/6. That's what they did, and guess what? Guess who ex-nayed them? Their best friends.
Here's the other problem that I feel besides that is he opened several businesses at once in a sectioned area where there are other Filipinos running businesses, and you can trust and believe there were other people running that 5/6 business. So at that point, he's cutting into their business. And that is their family's bread and butter. And that could be a major problem. Besides him actually just doing that, he just stated if it is what it appeared, he let the guy pay him off, and then it sounds like he just gave him a bigger loan all of a sudden. He said he just gave him a 35,000 loan. So here's the thing. He ran a lot of his business through Facebook. He was picking up people through the store. That's what it appeared to be. I have to tell you what's been shown on all of his videos. And people were coming there. And also, he was running his sorry store. He was leaving advertisements. And I think I have some footage of it. You'll see here in a little bit. Where he was advertising, giving out his phone number and location while his wife was sleeping next to him. It was really creepy. You want to run the... Here, run. Was that the one?
Which one?
That one. I don't know if it's in there or not. Or
A vlogger who was reportedly missing in Zamboanga and repeatedly warned by authorities to avoid the area, according to the police. In a video interview on Monday, October 21, Zamboanga Peninsula Regional Police Office spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Helen Galvez says that Elliot Onil Eastman had been warned not to go near the municipality of Sibuco, Zamboanga del Norte, and nearby towns due to reports of abductions in the area. But Galvez says that despite warnings from local police, Eastman insisted on staying in the area, adding that Eastman's vlogging made him vulnerable from abductors. Galvez also notes that they have detected no proof of life for Eastman so far. Last Thursday, October 17, authorities reported that 4 armed men posing as police officers forcibly took Eastman from his home and shot him in the leg when he tried to resist. Eastman was then taken into a getaway boat which fled out to sea. The United States Federal Bureau of Investigation has joined the search for Eastman.
all right, so I need to... Yeah, go ahead and... I was going to... I'm just going to look for the other article.
Okay.
I know it's kind of odd. I think this is the one here. Let's play this one. Like I said, to me, he's like Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, I get that he's 1 minute which we'll discuss after this, which is dealing with the Armstrong family. There's the article. He's selling things through TikTok with his phone number and offering free shipping. But these two legit. That was creepy. But his wife was laying next to him. Somebody said he was ex-military that he was in, but I think that's unconfirmed right now, so I don't know. And the reason being he had an actual article showing some military things that were being done, like the water logging them or something. And he was actually shaking his head. Yes, it's like that. You know, he was doing this, but somebody had left comments. And we received an email saying, oh, we think this dude's ex-military. And it's possible, even at 26, he might have been in for a few years. So it's
Hard to tell.
hard to tell on that one. So we have...
I don't think he is, though, because he never claimed to be.
Okay, and so before we open up the panel and we'll go through some of the comments, because we'll probably go through some of the comments first. Yeah, we're going to run the last article. And sorry, when you run news articles, we just have to let you know that these are from local stations and all that. So some of it we did change up and everything. And we're going to run this last one, which is the most recent. And then we'll get through the comments and open up the panel for, like we said before, members, regulars, Patreons, vloggers, that have been covering this that want to come on.
When a native of Vermont and a content creator was forcibly taken by armed men who pretended to be law enforcement personnel last October 17. He reportedly resisted his abductors, prompting them to shoot him in the leg. Over the weekend, FBI agents paid a courtesy visit on Sibuco Mayor Joey Ventura to get updates on the ground. The group also spoke to Eastman's Filipino wife. A search and rescue operation is underway. Authorities in Basilan are also verifying information Eastman could be in the area. Yun ang tinitingnan natin kung nandito man talagang kasi hanggang wala pa tayong cross drive, wala pa tayong nakikita indicators sa clinic. So ngayon, kasalukuyan pa natin hinahanap. No group has been named as potentially responsible for the abduction, but regional police said they are looking at several persons of interest. The U.S. State Department, meanwhile, continues to warn Americans against traveling to Mindanao. The travel advisory issued back in May says terrorists and armed groups in Mindanao have historically engaged in kidnappings for ransom, often targeting foreigners. It advises Americans to exercise increased caution or reconsider their visit. Nagbabalikan pa rin ang pambansa ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources na nawagan na po operasyon mula sa mga lokal na pamahalaan sa pagsumpo sa iligal na pagimida, gayon din sa pagtugon sa epekto ng sakuna at kalamidad. Yeah.
What were they saying? Were you?
I was listening, but
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
I was waiting for some translation.
Okay, the other one I didn't translate because the guy said what the English narrator said, except the difference is the guy said at the moment, that's the only difference of what the guy speaking in English said, and that's what I'm trying to analyze if she's saying something different. Hold on, sorry.
Americans to exercise increased caution or reconsider their visit. Nagbabalikan pa rin ang pambansa ng Department of Environment and Natural Resources na nawagan na po operasyon mula sa mga lokal na pamahalaan sa pagsumpo sa iligal na pagimida, gayon din sa pagtugon sa epekto ng sakuna at kalamidad. Yan ang balita pambansa ni Quiz Pardilla ng PTV. May persons of interest na ang Police Regional Office 9 kaugnay sa pagtugot sa isang American national sa Sibuco, Zamboanga del Norte. Nakilala ang biktima na si Elliot Eastman na 26 na taong gulang na napagkalamang 5 buwan na nanatili sa bansa. Base sa investigasyon, dinukot si Eastman sa loob mismo ng kanyang tirahan ng 4 na armadong lalaki na nagpakilalang mga...
Basically all he says that the foreign national was taken from their house from from 4 armed men.
Lagat ng patasa. Pero nagpumiklas ang banyaga, kaya't pinaril siya sa paan sa kakisinakay sa bangka. Yung pinaka-importante dito yung street na takasiguradong identification po. Dapat po alamin namin kung sino talaga yung grupo na hinahabol namin.
They said that, of course, they eventually, had an altercation and dragged Eastman into the boat. And currently we are trying to find and locate the group who is responsible.
Napaka-importante rin po na ma-rescue po namin success po ang nating biktima. 4 years ago po yung dinakalas na an incident po natin bida. For now, wala naman po dapat ipapadala na ating mga kababayan dito sa area, especially sa Vermont and North.
He says, because again, I paused it in the middle. Says we're trying to locate which group is responsible so we can rescue Eastman. I recommend that all foreign nationals avoid this area.
Meron po tayo mga increased security sa area. Sa ngayon ay nagpapatuloy ang hot pursuit operation ng pulisya.
Well, you guys heard the hot pursuit. Currently, the police is in hot pursuit. His words, not mine. That's what he says. Which, again, take everything with a grain of salt. Those are his words, not mine.
Patuloy din ang ng investigasyon sa tunay na pagkakakilanlan at motibo ng mga tumukota. Hindi pa rin ang nakikipag-ugnayan ng mga tumukota at hindi humihingi ng anumang tema.
So right now they don't know who's responsible, and no group has claimed, and there are no ransom demands.
Yeah, this just came out. I mean, I know it's a repeat of stuff, but this is this morning. There's a bunch of other news being released, but this is like the most up to date. There's probably one even since we've actually grabbed this article, but they keep repeating that nobody's asking for money, which is, I think, a bigger concern.
It's the big red flag.
It's
yeah.
a big red flag. So, yeah.
At for ransom money, nakikipag-ugnayan na rin ang PNP sa US Embassy. Yung officers kapat prepared po actually pursuing po yung...
So the PNP is, working with the U.S. Embassy right now.
Can you put that one up real quick? This has been a speculation of people. Chosen One said everybody in the village knows what happened. That family knows who took them. And this has been said, and rudely I said that on a couple days ago, like within 48 hours of this happening. And they say they have people, they're not holding them, they're just talking to people of interest. And remember, the girl had a previous life. Them villages are small. There could have been an ex, there could have been somebody promised to her, or there could have been anything going on. But everybody would have definitely known everybody in that area. So that is for sure. That's definitely been, brought around.
Now, they'll be aware that there's two sides. There's two possible sides that realistic two sides. Okay, I say realistic because anything could have been going on or could be going on right now. But realistically, there's only really two sides that will probably be the outcome. And one of them is, okay, why can't the people talk? One of them is this. Tony Manning says, I would say it's probably the wife's ex-boyfriend, and now he sleeps with a fish. Okay. Or maybe he did it to build his YouTube channel as a vlogger. Now, they probably can't talk because, one, it's the family themselves. Maybe. Speculation. Okay. To build his channel, which, again, keep in mind, that's why I said
it's part of his income.
His filter is a little off. Again, he shows stuff that shouldn't be shown on YouTube.
And he has stated in a couple of his videos, he said, how come my videos aren't doing better, or why my channel's not growing? And he is showing the full He's been showing, was that what they call the full Monty? Like he's showing everything and anything to actually get the views, and we get it. A lot of us are guilty of it in the beginning when the channels open up. We're dropping different types of videos, and he's going through, but he has no income. Also, it is said that either he was getting ready to leave in 5 days. This all could be speculation, or his immigration wasn't up to date since he's been married. So there's so much out there right now. Would it have anything to do with, is some of these side things have anything to do with, him being taken? No. But if he'd, possibly, moved to a different area or went back home, earlier when he felt like he was in danger, it's a good chance he could have missed this, or maybe it was planned all along. Who actually knows? We'll play the rest of this and get through some comments, but yeah.
Yeah,
So.
but before we move on again, like, and then again, now,
Yeah.
okay, now
I'm sorry.
again, I put this back up again because again, everybody in the village that knows what happened, family knows who took him, and California could have said it better.
I know who took it.
Family can't talk.
That's another thing. I know you guys are like, oh, just Heidi's old negative Nancy and everything. I'm sure. I'm almost, because remember, a lot of those extremist fractions, a
Well,
lot of them break off from cousins of cousins of cousins, and it's hard to say who is
well,
tied in
some may be
possibly
tied or
not.
not, but it could be simple
Could be
fear.
a third distant cousin or something. So in
Right.
that fact, it may be, if it's none of the above, it's then fear.
Yeah.
They live, that shows the days he woke up, he was right at the water inside of his house, which means their store is accessible by fishermen and other people that are coming in to buy things. These aren't people
you can
driving
literally
up.
grab a stone and throw it into the water. That's how close they are.
And-
Literally, not
and
figuratively. Literally.
Do you think they're paying any protection money?
Oh heck no.
Huh?
No, of course not.
Oh, you don't think anybody's asking them for?
No, most of the time, these radicals don't really. They know there's no money, but
I'm just questioning.
they will grab supplies. So, for example, he has a store. They'll probably empty out his store. But he's a foreign national. Of course, they're going to try to get
So
money
those
off
type
of
of
him.
groups don't shake down those in those.
No, they will
neighborhoods?
try, but they know that there's, you can't get blood out of a turnip, but a turnip may be right next to a sack of potatoes. You know what I'm saying?
Let me get those potatoes. So,
Right. No. They usually raid for supplies. They know who to squeeze. Put it that way. They're not. I mean, usually most of these radicals come from these villages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yung grupo po yung umaatap while yung other forces natin nag-i-issue ng peace and order doon sa affected areas natin. Ang kidnapping grupo ng Mindanao Field Unit seem very inspirating po ang kasama ng pamilya ng biktima na kung saan minamonitor din nila for any possible papunta po doon sa subsets na anin sa mga abductors natin. Samantala, ipinagputos na ni PIT Chief Robel Francisco Marbila ang mabilis na investigasyon at pagligtas sa dayuhan. Nakikipagtulungan na rin ang Armed Forces of the Philippines sa
Yeah, they're basically just saying, regurgitating, they're doing what they can. And they, of course, are working with the armed forces and same old stuff that they already said earlier.
paghahanap sa biktima. Mula sa PTV4, ako si Ken Manalo para sa Palitang Pambansa.
Okay, so let me go into comments and see what you guys have to say. And this should be interesting. MB. Hello, Philippine Squad. Hey, MB, how you doing? Smell and be happy. Thumbs up. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Yes, guys, be sure to do a thumbs up and subscribe.
That is Philippine Antics.
Oh no, but I'm gonna open up the panel.
Sarah Tyson. Hello, Heidi and George. Hello, roomies. Hey, Sarah. Thank you for the towels.
Opening up the panel doesn't mean we're gonna let you on. Hey, what's that?
Um,
Didn't even.
Timothy Rogers.
motorcycles.
This will be an interesting topic. Good morning. Second one says, good morning.
A lot of people have been covering it, and there's been a lot of very, interesting speculations from channels that's got 200-300 views up to a couple 100,000 views.
Yeah,
And the Filipinos are covering it too. We've
now,
heard a lot of stuff.
Actually, Tony Manning says again, it's probably the wife's
Oh,
ex-boyfriend. Possible, but it's possible. Now, here's the thing, and I've said it earlier, and we've said it earlier rather. A couple ex-veterans again contacted us, and then they, of course, they also said that their opinion is, honestly, the fact that he got pew-pewed in the leg, odds are he's probably sleeping with a fish, because...
And on a side note, a few of them said the fact he got pew-pewed in his leg means he might have been involved. And this was all about building that business, that family, and now they're all in the news, and they think they could just, being he's so young, he really thought he could pull off something that will bring him, anybody that's happened to has gotten extreme fame from it. Maybe he doesn't want to go back and drive in the cold weather and freeze his noogies off and get icicles on them Christmas balls that he's got, and that he thinks he's just going to sit there on the beach. And actually, maybe this whole thing of the weird awkwardness is something planned, is what is out there. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Honestly,
hopefully,
chestnuts.
in all honesty, again, I hope it's planned, because if it was planned, he has a higher probability of surviving or being alive right now.
Well, it'll be really strange when he just shows up, if this is all the, if he shows up,
there's no ransom paid or anything like that. That is really sus.
Well, they said they gave chase and everything. Here's my thing. The house has to be pretty isolated. Here, what's wrong?
What do you mean they gave chase?
They're claiming in some of the articles they went after him afterwards. Like
How?
when he was being taken. That I'm just saying. They said they read some of the articles, obviously, but yes, there's information out there that they tried to.
How can you not
pursue.
catch up with people dragging somebody?
I don't know. And supposedly it was at 10, 11 o'clock at night in the dark. Now, they have shown where they've got a section of the beach, like, particled off, where they said it might be,
That's making it more even.
blood. There's
more
a bunch of stuff going on, but no, that's what I mean.
If they gave chase, that makes it more sus, because...
They said they lost him. I don't know. Did anybody else hear that? Where they said they tried to go after him, but they could not catch up with him. I'll have to find the articles, so they're there. So
because they have to drag the guy out. You know what I'm saying? Literally, especially after they, pew-pewed his leg. Anyway.
Honestly, that's where they would have shot him at. Did their guns just discharge and then he accidentally got shot there? Wouldn't you have... I guess they didn't want to... So there's a lot going on.
Yeah. David Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Every time I read your name, that's who I think of. He was warned and still stayed. What a dummy.
Yeah, it says right here, they warned him.
Yeah. Just two says, ayo. I like that. Justin Rogers, FBI and CIA are helping to find him.
The CIA?
Yeah, I know. Now, we chuckled a little bit earlier, but just so you know, this is why the chuckle came up, because Simon Johnson says, I heard Tim K has been called back to duty and heading an elite extraction unit with an undisclosed employer.
And there is somebody further in there saying on Facebook, which we know who Goetz, I don't know if I'm mispronouncing his name. He said why are sending in the Americans to look for him or something, or why it was further down. I'll have to find it, but I'll address that here in a little bit. But Somebody said also about repositioning the satellites to find them or something. Wouldn't that be a
Here
near
it is.
impossible?
Goetz says, I support the
Goetz.
idea that. Now, keep in mind, this is sarcasm, I'm sure. I support the idea that all American expats now go to Sulu for a search and rescue mission.
Funny though, almost the exact comment, not saying it's you, almost the exact word for word comment ended up on Geo in the Philippines section, and he made fun of it and reposted it on his Facebook stating, yeah, okay, which is true. Hell no. And even if I had to think about it and I was in shape and had the money and everything, it would still be a hell no.
Well, no,
I
again,
mean, for
it's
multiple
kind of weird.
reasons.
Like some people say, "Oh, what are you guys doing? Talking about him? Why?" It's not like you're helping
Well, that's
us
what it
to
said to
find him.
Geo's,
It's
right.
like,
Yeah, you guys are posting
"Oh,
stuff,
what
but
do you
you're
want
not
us to
doing
do? Why
anything.
would we? One, we don't know the guy, and even if we did,
I mean, we
what are we
do
gonna do?
not out
Let's say you know
there.
him. Let's say you know him. What are you gonna do as a civilian? What are you gonna do?
You guys do realize it takes a long time to get to some of these. Here, let me try to pull up
You don't
this.
even know where to start.
Well,
Even a small island. Now, keep in mind, they're not in a small island. They're in Mindanao, and they don't think they left they don't think they even left Mindanao. And Mindanao is a big place.
can we remove that and come back in, right? Remove from stage.
To put into perspective on how serious this area is, okay, these areas have been notorious for this, really. Now, to put into perspective how serious that little area is, remember there was an ex Philippine president that ordered the execution of anybody who sold, you know, what's that, happy stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, whether the kind of deal or, you're popping a pill, that kind of stuff. If you peddle that stuff, it's automatic execution in public and anybody can do it. No, no, really, this that really happened. I believe 30,000, you know, expired because of this um order, as it were. Put it this way, again, that ex-president again made this serious thing, clean up the Philippines of that kind of stuff. And he's from Mindanao. He's the ex Davao mayor, which is running for mayor again. But that area still isn't cleaned up, and that's technically his territory from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. He cleaned up the entire Philippines, but he didn't clean up that area.
Interesting.
If that tells you anything, and that's his territory. Remember, Mindanao again wants to be its own country. They want to be independent. They want to be, hey, this is again. There's nothing wrong with that. I understand independence and all that, but guess what? They still haven't cleaned up that area. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. The police are going around to all people. Yeah, he did say all white people to leave until election's over. I believe David Anderson saying all expats. Tony Manning, he's got the popcorn.
Somebody said they're actually in Mindanao, in northern Mindanao, and they said that people haven't asked. So we're just saying what people are saying, not sure of it, but thank you for updating. He said that his wife's in the police. There's an art further down. Somebody said
Yeah,
something.
Victor C. Hi, George and Heidi.
That makes sense.
Hey, Victor C. Thank you so
Probably
much.
just
Appreciate
that
it.
area would be confirmed.
That's what I was thinking of. Yes,
Yeah,
that area.
so.
Yes.
Well, remember, some of this is coming from specific vloggers that are saying. So remember.
Thaddeus says Philippines is and has been on the USA no travel list, especially with the upcoming election.
Well,
election.
the Philippines itself is not on a no travel list.
No, I don't think so. It's just that certain areas, yes.
Yeah, and even then, recently they brought the
red
levels
zone
down. Right, even that area was brought down to a different level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably at a precaution, but I bet it's back up again. But it could be that the Philippines are actually on a list. It was for a while.
The red zone area, again, this has been consistent, again, since I was a child all the way up. Again, I don't care what the internet says.
What is a Jung Kung? He was taken to a Jung Kung, JUNG motorized pump boat.
Yeah.
Is it just the name of a type of boat?
Yeah, I believe so. You have to remember some of these words are new, like Joe, Kong.
That's true.
Kulong.
Or just the
Kulongs didn't exist back then. They did, but they still called them tricycles until eventually kulong caught on, because kulong actually means cage, but back then they just called them tricycles. Now they call them kulong, which is cage, which makes sense, but doesn't make sense at the same time. But anyway, in fact, it's again so new that even my uncle says, "George, do you know what a kulong is?" No, he did, because he knows it's a new word, and again, it didn't exist during my time when I was a kid here. Same thing, Jongkong. I'm pretty sure it didn't exist then. It's just now.
It says that the authorities are checking into information that was given to them that the docking of a boat similar in Basilian province is where they claim the boat that was described was actually docked. But all boats look alike, like all trikes, possibly. I don't know. See, it had this big yellow Pokemon on the side of it. There it is.
Right. Smile Be Happy says boss and the real boss. There you go.
The cups. Yeah.
And Smile and Be Happy says dynamite. Good times. There you go.
Dynamite.
Liam says I was told his ex-husband was involved. He was married before but got scammed.
Let's see. I was told his wife.
Victor C says, will the government be moving satellite positions to find him?
I was wondering about that, Liam, and the reason being is he said something went wrong, and at that point he had already went back to the U.S. for a while, a few months, and gathered money. Here's the thing: if you look at him on Facebook, and I went through the video where they were sitting there talking, and some of his other videos, he's got an extra ring on his other hand. That is either, is he married to another woman and he's got an extra ring because he's out there? Was he previously married? Because she was really pushing him, and I was like, yes, please do spill the tea, because I was waiting on bated breath every time she says, you need to tell him everything, and I'm like, in so many words she said that, and she kept trying to push him to say it. He would not, which most men, wouldn't. The women are the ones that really, are through the emotional side that really want to put things out there. And no, she kept trying to say what happened. And there was an article when we covered this in our live stream a couple days ago, before everybody started dropping stuff. I stated there was some articles out there that just mysteriously disappeared. Some of the original postings are gone now. And it stated that he got scammed and something bad happened in the first situation. That's how he met her. They locked eyes in town, but who knows? It's Wake up, babe. Speaking of which, on the table, can you reach the bottle over there? Right there, the Excedrin, George.
Oh.
You're out of it.
No, I'm not. I'm waiting on you to
Oh,
stop
sorry.
talking. I mean, well,
I was. I even leaned over because my face was itchy.
anyway.
Anyways, what? What? Where? How?
Okay, see, and that's another thing. No offense to the guy. Really, no offense to the guy. Victor C says, again, this has nothing to do with Victor. It has nothing to do with Victor C, because this has been brought up before. Will the government be moving satellite positions to find him?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
No. Honestly, I don't think so. There's more important stuff going on in this world. That's probably the least of their worries, especially with, the U.S. government having a travel advisory. Don't go to these areas. You know what I'm saying?
And they didn't exactly show up. I mean, I think it took them a few days just to come down there.
Yeah.
So it's
and again, I'm not
and
being.
they said,
Yeah.
they warned him. That's
Yeah,
another
correct.
thing. They clearly keep making a statement. And there was another article, or somebody. This I can tell you, I'm not sure of. Somebody or something made the statement that they will not take him up out of there at that point because of him making that decision. That he was told that also.
Right,
I don't know if that was somebody else military telling us that.
Even FBI, CIA, again, they're not going to send Chuck Norris over to rescue the guy. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to send Delta Force. I hate to tell you this. Nobody's that important, I mean,
they don't even hold back those photos.
no,
when they show
no, again,
it was an ambush on.
I'm not that important. Heidi's not that important. If we, again, go somewhere that the government says, hey, don't go there, and then we disappear.
I just seen a TikTok, so true, and I'll probably do a remake of it or something. There was this girl that was saying that her cousin got taken, and they're out there looking for stuff that she used the words exactly of what's going on, and she says along the lines of something about, now that's not true. And they were talking about how big she was. And I was making a joke with my neighbor the other day that kid was skinny, man. They just carried him off, right? And I said, they would just leave me there. They would call George and say, come get her. Too much to feed her, too much to carry her, all that, and just leave her there. So it's like, keep it fluffy, my friend. Keep it slippery, I'm gonna give my baby oil. And it's gonna be like, yeah, go ahead. First off, they don't want nasty, so they'd be like, can we get our 1,000 pesos and you can come get her?
Yeah.
Or are they just going to say, hey,
yeah, Mr. George, who do you think attempted to kidnap Heidi? Oh, that's easy, officer. Find 4 guys with broken backs.
Right? True story. Because that girl in that article was like, She goes, "Did you check all the restaurants? You know, she's a foodie and does food vlogs and all that. Did you check all those? Why are we out here in the heat looking for her and stuff? You know, dang well didn't nobody take her." So it's just like, I hear you. So, but no, they warned the kid, and you know, they actually warned him.
Black Grandpa says, my grandfather was a fisherman back in the day in Jamaica. He knew guys who used dynamite, and guys lost limbs and their lives using it.
No, he showed that, and he said, and he had it up against the wall at his house, saying,
And that's
"This is what they
legal where
used."
he's from, and it's legal here. And he
And he was
shows it.
displaying everything. He kept saying "my business" and "my this," and it's like, I wonder if he really did properly, you know, register. And
No, he's got to be colorum. He's got to be. If the guy doesn't file for his immigration, he's not going to file anything.
Yeah.
He can't. Because to have those businesses, he needs his ACRI card and everything.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he was legal. Maybe everything was on the up and up, including the 5-6.
Possible.
I mean, honestly, what does the government think of that? I mean, you don't think the FBI and the people are discussing that, and the mayor's not saying what's up now that they know he's doing it?
It's possible. The reason why I doubt it is because, okay, again, just judging from his vlogs, I could be wrong. He's the type of guy who'll show anything and everything, including his. Remember, we used to have our paperwork up on the wall.
Yeah,
he's the type that check out my certification
and leave everything exposed.
You know what I'm saying? No, again, that's his personality profile, and he'll be like, check it out. Here's my DTI. Here's my COR. Here's you know what I'm saying? That's why I doubt it.
But what does is it? Of course, it's illegal, right? The 5-6.
Color. Oh, 5-6.
Yeah. You're allowed to
It's not-
actually loan it out like that on the backside. And
It's
all right, so if we went and told the local barangay and all them that I'm here loaning everybody money, or somebody reports me, I'm
That's
not
the
going
thing.
down
Depends
like
on how you word things. That kind of deal. Because you
But
don't-
they know it now. They said they've been watching his videos.
Nobody
so
has
all of
paperwork
this.
for that. That's what I'm saying. It's not exactly a real business. So technically, depending
I'm
on
not talking about like that it's not registered. I'm just talking about being illegal, like purchasing 420. What I'm saying, isn't there something without the licensing that's isn't it a form of?
I think it is, but it's not so serious. It's not a serious offense.
Who knows? I'm just.
Yeah. Joel Alba says I like to travel, but I go solo, never as a pack. Oh, I see where you're getting. You said that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was his wife when he got kidnapped? Well, I think he was. Yeah.
You want me to go ahead?
That's
Well,
fine.
understand.
I was
people
at-
come up
I-
and let them in.
Well, let me get rid of these things.
Yeah, it was 11 o'clock at night. I mean, specifically, they've released the same amount of information to everybody.
Yeah, I said creepy.
Yeah. So different articles have kind of, I think, enhanced by adding a few things. Like the one said that somebody tried to go after him until they couldn't see the boat no more. I read that and seen it with my own eyes. I don't know if anybody else can confirm that right now. But I'm like, how? I'm assuming that somebody tried to take off in one of the boats and they just tried to. But it's. I don't know. I imagine she was asleep or something. But they might have all been up. They had a good description.
Well, I mean, for them to go and grab him, they probably woke up. Bear in the Philippines, youth and naive. I remember the feeling invincible at a young age. Correct. Mike Valdez says, guys, I live in northern Mindanao. No one has told me to leave. My wife, family, NBI, police, and government employees, but there are heavy security checkpoints.
Okay, so there it is. It's Mike that said that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Black Grandpa says his luck ran out. YOLO. Mike Valdez, the poor guy was deep in the sticks, though. Yep. Yeah, they don't play banjo music to warn him here, but he had a warning.
They might have.
Right? Could be.
They might have had some TikTok music going and TikToking or knocking the boots or something else when they busted in. We're the police, huh? And they bought that? Because here's the thing, it was the family home, so I mean,
Joe always says, my aunts, uncles, cousins live in Dipolog. I've been here on vacation six times, no issues, but I am Filipino born, U.S. naturalized citizenship. Mike Valdez
David,
says,
take George.
yeah. This ain't Vermont, right?
This ain't
Hi,
Vermont.
Victoria. How you doing? Good morning, George and
Hi,
Heidi and everyone.
guys.
Hey, Streak. How you doing?
What's going on?
Why live in fear in Mindanao? There are other places in Paris. See, that's the thing, and I've told you guys. I get why he's in Mindanao because that's where the girl was. But here's the problem: don't stay there. You can take the girl out of the area. It's
Can you hear me,
California.
Bear? Hold on. Can you hear me, Bear? You can? Yeah, go ahead. Hey, Bear. What's going on, man?
Not much, guys. What's going on?
Looking good. Crazy, man. Kind of crazy. All kinds of theories going around on this one.
Yeah. I know. I mean, it's the young man. I heard about it during the weekend after it already happened and stuff, and I started seeing bloggers and everything. So, like you, I started doing my research and first went to his channel first, and I did notice that the young man is a little bit off, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the whole thing is a little strange where he knew that there was stuff that was like not right. What's up, Osito? You ready to go?
And
Okay.
several times he actually mentioned that, hey, this person's watching me. That one clip we show you was not an isolated incident.
Yeah.
He actually
Yeah.
was like almost practically hiding behind his wife. He said he was so
Yeah. I mean,
afraid.
at first, like I wasn't sure if it was an act, if that was a stick. I'm like, well, this kid pretending to, because it was from one video to another. It was very, like you said, it was very different. His state of mind was different. There was others where he was just sitting there, and it's like, I don't know. It's like,
It looked
I,
staged.
I honestly hope it wasn't a ploy, number one. Number two, I I don't know. I hate to sound negative too, because the whole situation, if he
No,
was injured,
I want to really hear it. Okay, first off, let me ask you real quick. Do you think he's still alive? Come on. I'm
the
sure at
odds of
some
it,
point you walked around and you said,
the odds of it, and I look at it two reasons why. He's younger, and I assume he's healthier than I am.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming I'm putting myself in this situation. I don't think I would have survived already with my conditions and my health and the elements. Also from past kidnappings of what people have gone through and stuff. I don't know, but it doesn't at the same time. This doesn't sound like it's political. That's the thing. It might have been some kind of financial thing, maybe. So I don't know now.
right, but the fact they haven't
I put myself in. I put myself in.
asked for any money yet could be an issue.
Exactly. There we go. That's what I'm saying. And then this has become like a bigger news thing now. Now it's worldwide, So I hate saying it, but it's easy to just kind of just give her the evidence and kind of like just try to move on and stuff because it has happened in other situations already with that one couple where these people think, oh, it's just easier just to get rid of the evidence and whatnot and just try to move on. So I don't know. I hope for the young man's sake, but I don't know. I mean, and like again, also, I said about the family not being able to talk because I do relate the Philippines a lot like Mexico, especially with this kind of subject, where you're not allowed to talk about it at all for fear of repercussions. And then you guys know that the Philippines is like one word, like right next door. The whole barangay knows, the whole town knows. How you doing, buddy? Everybody knows. So when somebody said that they probably do know some of the people that were involved and that are involved, but they can't speak. They can't say anything for out of fear of repercussions. So I don't know. I mean, I just want to do that. I just want to say that I hope that he's fine, but I don't know. I don't want to be negative, but yeah, it's probably not looking. His odds of it coming up are not looking good at this point now.
For multiple reasons, and I think that's why the newspapers the last few days, and then the news within the last, I'd probably say last 8 hours, actually is now making statements that they have not asked for a ransom, which is probably strange to them at this point, or no fraction has actually taken, what do you call, responsibility or
Yeah, no, that's
took
the word.
claim to it, because usually if it's only about that or the elections, they might have, flapped their gums a little bit, but who knows? This is, I'm not a professional at this. What's going on? That was a great live you were on the other day there, Mike. We was watching, and you and Brian, a lot of good points were actually made for sure. And you probably know me. The reason I was trying to get to California Bear, I was like, you sure while you're by yourself? You didn't say, man, that guy's a goner. But I walked around here and said, he's a goner. There's just too much going on, and more stuff is coming up. And we just had footage, and I was trying to put some clips together. George was. We have one where he showed the inside of the Piso net that he's running through the solar panels. And he's showing the money inside there, what he actually made. Like there's a bunch of 10 coins, a bunch of bills, and everything else. He put that on his TikTok, and he's exposing all these different things. So, yeah.
There's a couple of different things. First off, California Bear is absolutely correct. And he's echoing the same thing that Cedric Edwards is saying in the comments. People know. All right. But nobody's going to open their mouth. Zamboanga is deep in the heart of Abu Sayyaf territory.
Yeah.
All right. The entire Sulu archipelago. You look at where, I think George may have made the comment earlier about where did Duterte not send the military? He didn't send them into the Sulu archipelago. All right. He didn't want to face up with ISIS and those guys out there. And then secondarily, this guy, the police immediately, all during that, made comment of, we told him, we warned him.
Yep,
right? The guy was
released
doing money loans.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing money loans. And now what I would wonder is who's looking at that Piso net. I looked at the Piso net equipment. It's recorded all of those IP addresses that people looked at. So it may very well have information as well. It's not one of those fancy servers that turns around and deletes out and stuff like that. I mean, unless they were on a VPN, well, whatever. I agree. If indeed he got shot in the leg, he's dead. He's gone. All right. There's no ransom note. I doubt seriously he was a registered business. I doubt seriously, any foreigner running a 5-6, any foreigner loaning money and then enforcing its collection is a target no matter where.
Mike, do you think that he wasn't taken that far out, and it's not the the extremists that took him? Could it actually be somebody within the area that just took off in that direction, really docked somewhere else, and based on him showing off his store, telling people he does loans through his TikToks, and everybody knew that? Could that be somebody he loaned a large amount of money? I mean, the last guy in that video, he said he loaned 35,000 pesos. Do you think any of this has, or cutting into other people's business?
You know what? Any foreigner running a 5-6 business is a target for anybody. I mean, I can tell you, there are 5-6 businesses that have groups of investors. In other words, a group of people will get together and they will fund a 5-6 business. And if the returns don't happen, they go after the person in charge. So, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that could have been going on. I feel bad. Do I feel horrible? No. He is in, of the few red zones identified by name at the U.S. Embassy's government website. All right. Zamboanga is one of them. All right.
Right.
We own a place and have a home in Mindanao, and we go to Mindanao, and we've never even heard of a problem where we are, but we're still careful. We still keep an eye out. But it is not a place to be for somebody that's doing business with the community. I'm sorry. I don't see it that way. Somebody said Zamboanga is a Christian city, outside is different. No, Zamboanga is in the heart of it's a Muslim, prominently Muslim area.
Yeah.
Every city in the Philippines is a Christian city. Sure.
Right. But
Muslims are Christian.
Yeah, there could be Christians in there because I was talking, I believe, to Sarah the other day, and I said that it was mentioned that his Facebook love that he went out to see initially turned out to be transgender, and then there was discussion, well, Muslims can't be transgender. I said, but there could be some still in the area that are Christian and everything. It doesn't mean the entire town would be Muslim, but it is predominantly Muslim in those areas, yes. And there still could be Muslim transgenders. It just depends on how serious they are into their religion. I hate to say it. It's just, it is what it is. So, but yeah, something went south in the first relationship that, where he met her and he went through the whole topic of that. But yes, there's
Salem the Realtor, not Pigsaw Net. It's Piso Net, PISO. It's a business. You can Google it. Mm-hmm. You'll find out it's actually a network of businesses.
Actually, that was in your video, right? One of the places that didn't say.
Yeah, it was.
It was in George's.
It was a Piso vending machine by Red Planet. Yes.
Yeah, it showed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have them.
Drop coins, they're pesos, and to get internet.
I was going to tether a few of those.
I don't know. I mean, I hope the guy is okay. I hope it's a scam. I hope he makes money. I hope everything. The last thing I hope is for anybody, and I don't care if they're American, British, Filipino, to be hurt.
Right.
None of us want that.
No matter whether. I was telling George, there's probably people saying, oh, he deserves what he gets and all that. And both me and George said, he's a human being. Nobody deserves that, no matter, unless they're just really, really a bad guy. But so many other possibilities. Do you actually think that he did this, even though he acted like that? Do you think that he's being dumb and that this is all set up, even down to, because nobody actually seen the injury? So do you think any of this could be a full story for the family to build, and that they think they're...
You know what, Heidi? I think there's a lot we don't know. I think the local authorities, the local people, all of them know far more than what's in the news and what's available. And only time is really going to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, expat crap makes a really valid actual statement, is that, the kid did the right thing, supporting, what he is, but he just did it the wrong way. Was he trying to make a living for his family? Was he trying to do this? Was he trying to do that? Who knows?
He did a lot of traveling to a lot of dangerous areas before he settled on staying and marrying her, although he went back to the US. So he seemed to like the adventure part of it. Yes, starting all the businesses were the right thing, but here's the thing that I've clearly heard on the news is that his or her family, which would have been his there, her family warned him allegedly. Because I was like, didn't the family tell him, like I was told in Egypt to do this, this, and that, so I didn't get in trouble? So, yes, I covered my head with the rest of the Muslims. I stayed in at a certain area. I kept my mouth shut in certain areas where nobody, of course, they're going to know I'm, American just based on my looks. But for the most part, they said they told him. But yet he, married, returned, still continued, and they've warned him of all things. So, yeah.
I got no idea other than I feel bad for the guy, but I don't. I mean, everything that makes common sense says do not be there. Every part, I mean,
Yeah, and hopefully people will learn from this. I mean, if there's anything, people will take a little bit more precaution no matter where they are. So it's heightened the senses of everybody, including me, even in this area still. It's, if it's all what it actually is, all eyes are on us as an American and British and anybody else. For the time being, anyways. So, and I'm not trying to redirect it for me, but I was saying the other day that,
it's okay. It's the problem we live with the world we live in now. It's an information superhighway world, and what I'm getting at is monkey see, monkey do. The real danger is now the certain bad people who don't have that filter, knowing right from wrong, will say, "Hey, maybe we should, take an expat and get money off of them."
That's what I mean. Like when things start happening, the copycat stuff, and that's what I was telling George. We had a full conversation about,
And that's why I hate to say it. I mean, TikTok is dangerous. Remember the Tide Pod challenge?
Yeah.
Monkey see, monkey do. People tend to copy
bleach stuff.
Correct. They copy everything. It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
And it, unfortunately, expats, even though they're probably not in danger, it just makes everybody insecure at this point.
Yeah, it's like when bad things happen, Americans do this, and that. Like, they just caught a few more of the pedo guys at Clark and turned them around and stuff. He just, when those articles come up, I'm sure the guys get extra glares for a while and stuff. They run that through Facebook and everything else.
Yeah, and another thing, just real quick, since Heidi mentioned it, the Filipino word for pedo guys, it doesn't make sense when you directly translate to English, because the Filipino word for a pedo guy is maniac, maniakis.
Maniacus?
Yeah, maniac, which doesn't make sense if you translate it directly, but the word for pedo guy is maniakis, or maniac, which is maniac. But again, I didn't invent the language, guys. Don't put it on me. But anyway.
Well, I just, on the one hand, I feel very sorry for him. I feel really sorry for his family here in the U.S. who probably have, I mean, look at all the information that's being put out there, and none of it's positive. Okay. I feel sorry for them. But at the same time, I do feel bad that he didn't pay attention to his surroundings and did not pay attention to reality.
Mm-hmm. It was like I was telling George. I said it's the same thing with this being in the news as when the thing that sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, Ocean Gate.
Right. So it was kind of the same thing with Ocean Gate. Everybody's like, "Oh, there goes those millionaires. They deserve what they got," situation, and they were idiots for being the first of this or that, which it already had a few missions, and the world was stuck on that for a while. And it's like the world loves that drama situation. It actually sells. So a lot of people are like, they got what they deserve for being inside there, yet others that are like, "Oh, you're just a horrible person for thinking that," and it's kind of like this in this situation. A lot of the guys are just brutally honest. It's like, dude, he shouldn't have been there. He's gonna get what he deserves. Is the bottom line? Is like he didn't heed any caution, and then me as a parent and a grandparent, and George too as a grandparent, it's just like you're horrified, and then you're like, what a bonehead, what a bumpkus. What did he do? And then when you start getting further into his stuff, like when I seen that he traveled to, I think it is Liberia and certain danger zones of Africa, he's,
So here's the thing, guys. That now that we're saying this, what about? Don't you guys think maybe his state of mind when you're saying that he's traveled to different areas and stuff like that in the past, and then common sense about this area where he already knew that it wasn't probably the best place for him to be around and stay anymore. Maybe his state of mind wasn't. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. When seeing his videos, where his mental, not a capacity. I don't want to say that either, but maybe there was some kind of mental illness, like he wasn't on medication or something. That just, I don't know. Maybe he was asking for this. Who knows?
He seemed to do a lot of where, to me, I felt that he was ADHD or had high anxiety. He seemed to be on medication of some sort because he was always like...
He's always fidgety.
He's doing stuff with his lips. Now, you'll see me do this because I've been always playing with my hair, and I do have high anxiety. I haven't tried to hide that. But he does certain movements that seem also possibly there's something neurologically wrong with him.
You know something? Here's something else. California Bear's correct, except I think we missed something here. He's young. People like California Bear, people like me, even George and Heidi, none of us are 20 some odd year old kids.
Right.
I mean, at 20 some odd years old, you're still a kid. You really and truly are. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to anybody that's out there, but in comparison to some of life's hardships that we've been through, we realize that the worst shit that happened to me in my 20s would have been a great day today. All right. This kid his mental maturity is easily displayed in his prior videos. And I think that's part of what CV was getting at. I don't think he's, touched in the head or rides the short bus or anything like that. He's just a kid. That's it.
He was kind of throwing caution to the wind a lot there. A big gamble, what it seemed like to me. I mean, because it seemed like he was bored. I mean, half his videos seemed like he was just bored, just endless, just like, he wasn't even talking. Like, what was he experiencing, really? I mean, I don't know. I mean, when I sit down and blab, I blab, I'm talking, whatever, but I'm doing something, not just aimlessly just sitting there, eating something. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like there was something with that kid that just wasn't sitting right.
I guess that's a good perspective, and women tend to be, I hate to say it, at that point in our lives a little bit more mature, and I'd already had 2 kids by then, and entered my second marriage and was very responsible from a very young age, and that would not have been me. But I guess that's it's definitely.
I mean, I think he meant well. Also, he meant well because he was mid-20s, married. He was trying to bring up the family and everything, trying to do it the right way, mature and everything. I mean, when I was that age, I wasn't doing that. If I was in the Philippines, I'd probably be where you guys are at, being one of those idiots at the bars and stuff. I'm not there no more, I'm in my 50s, I kind of like.
If I was younger, I'd be all over the place for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. Everybody's
doing a lot
different.
more stupider stuff. I was like, now it's just so I can't run from this crap at this point. So.
You know what though? But California Bear's right. How many of us in our mid-20s thought we were Superman? I mean, just like bulletproof. I can if I can't outfight them, I can outrun them. Either way.
Or nobody's going to tell me anything because I was told not to move. Like when I went and moved back to Ohio when I lived in Florida for a while, I was told no several times and I did it anyways. So maybe that's the point that he was at when they told him, hey, you don't want to be here. And he's like, oh, my wife's okay. And the family said, don't do this. And he's like, I got this. So yes, it's a possibility. But, on the other hand, just observing how he was acting to the videos, then yes, that could have been boredom, now that I think about it. But he was doing a lot of other things that seemed neurological. But definitely, can pray. Hey, what's going on, Chosen One?
How's everybody doing?
Hanging. Are you still back in the U.S.?
No, actually, I just got back to the Philippines. I just got back maybe about a week ago. So I just been chilling, relaxing. I've been gone for a little bit, so I finally just came back. So I just joined the panel. But as far as this kid, though, I will say this. I agree. Of course, yeah, he's young and he really doesn't know a lot. But the truth of the matter is that even my first experience being older, like I tell people all the time, the Philippines is not ideally for beginners. This is not a swimming pool. This is coming past your knees. This is coming past your knees. And I don't know how he winded up. I don't, but he's not the only expat that lives in all these weird, secluded places. There's a lot of expats like that. All right. But it's not even so much him being young, but you just simply just don't have that type of experience. I don't care who you are. This is way deeper than that. That's all I wanted to say.
It's definitely different. I had mentioned the Armstrong family earlier. He renamed the channel and reopened it back up, and now he's covering stuff about what really happened. But he was very bluntly honest about the fact that people get complacent here, they get bored here and start doing stupid stuff, and that his depression had kicked in, and that for those that have not said it, and I've said it a few times, this place can be something else, and it does cause some anxiety. That's why I said it's not good for people who have anxiety or depression or no patience. And then me, as I've always called myself a Karen or in a certain situation or used to things, it gets kind of rough. But I can see where the depression could set in or the boredom to cause you, to do, silly things. But definitely the Philippines is not for everybody. It's not for people that have issues like that and such. And boredom can, I have to repeat the boredom thing. That's what we were saying in retirement, that, being together, like in the same house day in and day out. That's why, George will go off and do things with family and friends, and I'll do my thing. And then you have to get out and do things, in the retirement years for sure.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it? Doesn't it make you wonder, do people come here to the Philippines and say, I'm going to start my life over and I'm going to create something with my life? Is that what this kid was doing? And like Chosen One says, this is not, the Philippines is not the place to learn how to do that. You can make mistakes here quick.
Yeah, initially, like I said, I honestly don't think that was his situation, because I sat down and watched a 30-minute video of him and his wife where they had a full discussion about why he was here. And he said that he was like traveling, but he was a food delivery driver. He appeared to be living with his mother, that he met a girl through Facebook. And so what brought him to the Philippines, he said at that time, was the girl on Facebook. And that's how he locked eyes with her. And she said she liked him. There must have been several interactions in a small area where they ran into each other. Because at some point they started to talk a lot. And then he came over back and he had to save up his money, he said, from working the food delivery to come over and see her. And then he went back again. And then he, after he married her, he had to go back and make, so he's made several trips, but I think it was because he was in love. So I don't think, like us, it's like, okay, it's cheaper over here. The pandemic hit, things were falling apart, hard to get employees over there for the business. Better to take what savings we had if we were going to go down the road before we depleted it back into the business. And so, yes, it was a short, decision to, hey, let's just go ahead and go now. So for us, it was several reasons to come over, but for him, I think it was all about the lady at that point.
Well, yes and no. Again, just to paint a real quick picture for you guys. Again, Lou says again, we are not Elliot Eastman's parents. We need to stop judging his decisions. Again, and these are speculations, correct? Now, to paint a picture for you guys, just for those of you who are not aware.
I wouldn't say it's all
No.
speculation.
That's not. I'm not talking about speculations now. I'm talking about what a lot of people aren't aware or keep forgetting. If you guys watch this video, okay, honestly, it's paradise. Where does he live? He lives by the sea, literally. Again, little stone throw away. You can see it's like a cove area. So there's like, like a mountain or island ridge on the side, and then there's palm trees and everything, and the sand is right there, and that's his backyard. I mean, what more can you ask for? You know what I'm saying? And then he's got his wife with him, and as a bonus, the family lives there too. Now, remember, the family is a two-edged sword. It's a bonus, honestly. Let me be honest with you again. Filipinos are very loving, and they're very loving, and they're very caring. And again, it's a two-edged sword. There's pluses and minuses to Filipino families or families in general, wherever family you're from. So what I'm saying is, on paper, it's perfect. So I can't blame the guy for being there. However, now personally, here in the Philippines and in Mexico, okay, the reason why I say these two places, because these again are places where there's danger zones. When a local tells you something, hey, don't go to that area. Hey, don't talk to that guy. Oh, actually, and even in the U.S., now that I think about it, I was born in certain areas in the U.S. Hey, don't go there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, in the U.S., in St. Cloud.
Yeah, but he was young.
Point being, if locals tell you, don't go there, listen, leave, you need to leave. Something's going to happen to you. If locals warn you, you need to listen. Now, again, I also understand that at that age, you feel invincible.
I think it was the lady.
Well, that's another thing. Judging from the guy's, again, behavior, honestly, everybody's usually, by default, again, a good person by default. A lot of bad people do bad things. Most of the time in their head, it's not bad, if that makes any sense. Because by
There's
default,
good in everybody
right, there's
somehow,
good in
some way.
everybody, and we always think good of people, especially the kind ones. So if he was warned, he's like, yeah, that'll probably never happen, that kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? And that's also where the age comes in. Because age comes wisdom. We know better. Like, hey, don't go there. Oh, snap. Okay, I got you. At my age, yes. I mean, if I was younger, honestly, I probably wouldn't have listened either. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Yeah, especially what am I gonna do? Leave my wife, leave her family? And the reason why I say that, because remember I said earlier, you can always take the girl out of the province. Okay, but certain girls will not leave their family. They will refuse to leave their family. She
Oh,
might be
yeah.
one of those.
Actually, in that video, and I advise people if they're really into this story and have any doubts, that full thing, she said she wanted to travel. She said she wanted to go places like he has and wished to be more like him, and she was dropping the hints to do traveling and go places. So I don't know about hang with the family, because at some point they weren't always living with the family. He asked her how she liked living there at the new place. They weren't at the family home in this video, and this was, I think, within a month or two. And she said she didn't, that she wanted to travel and do things like he did. She said she didn't like where she was. That was her statement. That was a very open statement for her.
Right.
So, and that's not speculation. That was from her video. So, and then of course there's more added to it that she went on about. I got the feeling she wanted to go and live in the U.S. and experience life. She didn't like being in. I don't know. Most of them do want to be with their family and everything else, but I got the feeling that she really wants to get out and be a free bird and everything. And so I don't think she's a super strict Muslim, because lots of times she's on the TikTok uncovered, and I think she even has her own TikTok account. So a real strict Muslim like I've seen in the Middle East would have been fully covered. And yes, I've only seen her part-time cover, so it looks like she really wants to get out and experience life and everything. Maybe she does want to fly the coop, who knows. So.
Yeah. Now, just real quick again, I'm gonna go back and forth on the comments. Liu says, I live with Filipino family for 2 years in Zamboanga, and I'm sure Mike has some experience with this. There is disadvantages more. Oh, well, I didn't know he said that. More disadvantages than advantages. Talking about the Filipino family. Also, I'm a native Spanish speaker, and Mexico province is way more scary. In our experience, we think that Mexico is way more scarier. Yes. Now again,
Yeah.
advantage and disadvantage is having a Filipino family. My family has always been a plus. I mean, again, they're more supportive than anything. I mean, we don't ask for stuff, we get random food deliveries and stuff like that.
I mean, I have a theory. Like us, we were in the mountains with the cartel, and that's why I made a joke that maybe some people feel that if they were like right up in the Sulu itself, right up there with them, they'd be the protected ones. Who knows? But instead of being on the curbside waiting to be picked up like trash, I don't know. But we didn't have any problems. We knew there had been some problems up there, but we didn't.
It's one of those, if keep your head down, and shush.
But basically, yeah.
I mean, the place we lived at, again, had a gate with riddled with bullet holes.
Flash
I'm
cards.
not joking.
But they actually have the glass thing here. You told me when we got here there
The
was
surroundings.
glass on the.
There's some houses
some
nearby that are like riddled with 7mm holes.
But you can turn 3 blocks. You can turn 3 blocks in our area or other areas, and you're going to see barbed wire or some using the
Razor
glass
wire, yes.
bottles, and so it just
In
depends
fact,
on where you're at in the Philippines.
Candy Palace has razor wire. If you pay attention, if you go, Mike, you ever look in the back alley of Candy Palace? They have razor wire on Candy
You're damn
Palace.
right. You're damn right. We've got razor wire. We've got
Right.
24-hour security, and
Yeah.
and those fuckers aren't allowed. It's just that simple. You know?
Hey, is that to keep the girls out there, Mike? Keep the
You know
girls off
what?
you?
I will be honest. I'm just going to tell you this. I told this story this morning at breakfast. I got up 3:30 this morning, having my coffee. I go sit outside, and there is a Korean arguing with security because the young lady he brought back from the bar turned out to not be a young lady, and he wanted his money back, and she ain't going to give it back, or he's not. The bakla is not going to. So the security guard is like, "Oh shit, buddy." So, you know what? You get all kinds. I mean, and it doesn't matter where you live here. I have friends that live in Pulu Amsak. They have issues on occasion. We have issues on occasion. Who, it doesn't matter. It really and truly doesn't. And if we can have issues here, certainly that poor kid could have issues there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But as far as your safety, I'm sure that's been in the open and discussions on other channels about they feel safe where they're at. You feel the same too, Mike?
I feel safe.
Yeah.
I will tell you this much. Here's where I don't feel safe. One block up, one block over. I don't feel safe because they won't do a damn thing about those 4 nasty ass dogs that bite everybody. Other than that, I feel safe.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's a real thing. George just got his rabies shot.
The one by T-Bax?
By T-Bax?
It's over by, and yes, by T-Bax.
Okay, I was wondering. Okay.
You ain't feeding them puppies, are you?
Oh, all the time. I got my sausage right here.
Put your sausage back there, George. Or somebody's going to bite it.
Expat Craft says the Korean probably paid $10K for a sausage.
I seen the other day. It's crazy. I mean, the girls will sell themselves for a trike ride if they have to, but yeah, he probably did pay $10K. I mean, he didn't see that coming, or I mean, I know there's some freaky deeks that don't mind it, and what people do is their own business, but if he was that upset and then knew, surely there had to be some signs, but maybe just me as a woman can see that. Maybe the guy had a few drinks and that was it there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
It's like,
I love living here just for the drama that takes place between 1:45 and 4:45 in the morning.
right.
It can be so entertaining.
Hey, you know what? We can take these 2 little bottles of baby oil that Sarah sent. We can go down there about 2 in the morning and say, what would you do for a bottle of Diddy oil?
They probably wouldn't know.
I just bought an Action 4, okay? And I tried to hang, I had it all made where the tripod and the extension rod, hanging that camera off the end of the balcony, pointing straight down, just so I could videotape that shit at night. And then Arlen said, security may not appreciate that.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I said, okay, I won't do it.
That's true. Now, Cedric actually has some good points here. Does anyone know if he converted to Muslim when he gets married?
He would have to, unless they're not a super religious family. In order in Islam, the Muslim men that I was married to can marry the American woman that's just Christian or whatever, because he's the one that leads the family. And this is the same in speaking to the imams at the Tampa Mosque in Florida. But if it comes to a man, he has to convert.
No, he has to convert.
There's no way that the family or a decent family or a practicing Muslim would allow their daughter to marry a man in any manner. And if they did and he didn't convert, that could answer, in my opinion, a bunch of other questions. Or, I'd already have my answer if they didn't care. If they said, hey, go ahead and marry him anyways, then there's a bunch of other problems going on. But you would have to, because the husband has to be the one that leads the family. And he's got to teach his children the Quran. He's got to teach them everything. So, just the way it is.
Right. And keep in mind that Cedric Edwards is in Zamboanga del Norte. So he kind of is, again. The reason why I'm highlighting this, because, again, Cedric Edwards is in Zamboanga. And also, Lou says, I love Zamboanga. They're good people. Which is why, honestly, I hope and pray this is all a scam. I really hope that this is just something he came up with to get numbers, to get popular and all of that.
To be honest, that's what we're waiting for. We really think he's going to pop out of the box and say surprise or something, or thought he could get away with it, and then they're going to put the cuffs on him anyways, and that's all this is. That's really,
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah, yes.
And first of all, it's not a scam. Just from my own personal experience, and I will say this. I remember many years ago, maybe 6 years ago, when I was in the Philippines. For those that don't know, I've been in the Philippines off and on a very long time. I would honestly say, even though I'm not of the culture, I am very familiar with the Philippines. And it reminds me of the time that I got pickpocketed on a jeepney. And Angela City, that is where I reside. And I still think about it from time to time. And basically, what happened was I got on a jeepney. It was when I first got into the country. Um, I didn't want to drive a motorbike. I didn't have anything. And basically, I got squeezed into a jeepney. They pack them like sardines, right? So it's like, even though it sits like 8 people, they fit like 15 people in there, right? And I got in there, and I got a seat or whatever, and I got pickpocketed for my phone. Just one of the many times I've been robbed. I've been robbed lots of times, but I mean, it's really no secret. I tell the stories all the time, and even though everybody was nice around me, everybody was joking. That's how they were. Everybody was joking and laughing. They was like, "Hey, what do you think about this boxer?" And the whole time, this crime was being committed. And guess what? Every Filipino on that jeepney knew exactly what was happening, and they didn't say a word. That is how it works. So I promise you, California Bear is correct. Everybody around that kid knew exactly what happened. The parents know exactly what happened. They already know. That's all I want to say.
Jason one's correct. They know. Everybody knows, and they're not going to say a word for fear of repercussion. They're not going to say a word because I believe it's not a scam. I believe the guy did get abducted or whatever by somebody bad, and they don't want to say a word, so nothing bad happens to them.
Yep. Well, that's all we can do is hope
Right.
that
That's
would
why
be
I
the
said.
scenario.
That's why I said I hope it's a scam, because honestly, again, it's hoping against hope, really, guys. Again, like somebody says, an armor light is what they call it here, an M16, an armor light. An armor light has a 556 cartridge. That's like a bullet like this one. Anyway, yeah, if you got shot in the leg, it doesn't matter where you get shot by that thing.
It's been 4.5 days.
The probability is really slim that he's still alive and kicking right now.
So Cedric Edwards says the police are looking for her ex-husband. It's my understanding she's 18 years old. She's got an ex-husband. She married a guy. I mean, if they were married, she'd have to have been divorced. That's kind of young to be able to get married.
She could have been Islamically married.
Yeah,
too.
they're
We discussed that.
Yeah, they're Muslims. So
it's
easy to divorce.
Yes, and it's quite easy to marry too.
Yes.
So, and it might not have been done through the actual government, but I did see several small children that were always consistently there with him and her.
Oh, that makes sense.
It is possible. Some of the girls do start as early as how can we say this? So the menstrual cycles. So
yeah,
but it's infection would have set in and everything.
Yeah, he's bleeding out and it's infection. Yeah,
I know it sounds bad that the worst case scenario, we can only hope is that he was doing this all for clout and even had somebody do that, because there have been stupider things done where people have injured themselves, to get the attention and to get fame and all that. But more than likely, it is what it is, and that it's sad.
Well, either way, I've got to run. You guys take care. Thanks for having me on. I hope
Thank you so
everybody
much,
out
Mike.
there has a
Appreciate it.
great time.
All
Good
right,
luck to
thanks,
all
Mike.
of you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's see. Mr. Merciful addresses chosen one. Maybe it's just karma. You live like he actually called you a sex bat. And put yourself in the sleaze ball situations, then these things will not happen.
Well, he wasn't in that sleazeball situation.
No, he was on a jeepney, which actually.
Oh, he's talking about chosen one
Angeles
specifically.
City,
I see. I see. Well, that's not really has nothing to do with sex batting or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why he said step your game up by a car. But again, remember, driving here is
insane. I'm
oh,
not going to attempt
Jiminy
it.
Crickets. No, I can't. Oh my gosh, don't. Okay, like for instance, I made a vlog for you guys recently, and went on my drive there. Honestly, there's this tricycle on my right, literally drive in front of me. Okay, the tricycle was on my right, and then it literally went like this, like literally made the U-turn in front of me around my car. And no chew, this is driving traffic straight.
I said this before. Them's your people.
And I'm like, what the freak? Like,
them's your people.
It's one. No. Here's the thing. It's a trike. It's one thing if a motorcycle. I mean, I hate it when a motorcycle does it. A single motorcycle does that. I mean, it's happened before a lot. But a tricycle, a full-on trike.
No, the traffic is crazy.
No, it's insane. And then what else did I see recently? Jiminy Crickets. Oh my gosh. No, it's next level. It's next level. You really can't just buy a car. Yeah, no.
Well, we have 128 people in here, and let's get everybody's full opinions at once. Well,
now
if you think he's alive, put a 1. Like he's still out there and they're just holding out, that he's still alive, put a 1. If you think that he's already like expired and
well, yeah, just or just say he's alive and why, or if he's expired, why?
Yeah, 1 if he is, and
why
2
do you
if
think
he's
he's
not.
expired? Why do you think he's alive? You know?
Yeah, be curious.
Now
and we'll go through and we'll go through and answer people's comments. George is going to go back through there, so we'll hold the live open to actually answer people. So
now to say this is political, that's really difficult, because the reason being, again, is Woody Light says crime is back in the Philippines now that Rodrigo Duterte is not killing the bad guys anymore. Again, the reason why this is kind of, I don't think it is political, is because, one, for it to be political, it kind of doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons. It's one, Mindanao is Duterte's territory, even though he's not president. It's still his territory. So something happened in his territory. I get it, but keep in mind that Bongbong is the president of the Philippines, so it's kind of like,
I'm just writing down.
It's clashing. It doesn't make sense. Like, okay, so is this against Duterte because it's his territory, or is it against Bongbong because it's his term? So you get it. The lines are blurred, because this whatever happened right now, you can pin it on either the president or the ex-president. You can pin it on.
Do you think that's even a possibility right now?
No,
that it's
I don't think so.
Based? They would have said something if it was. That's what.
That's
I've
another
been
thing. Yes,
thinking is if this was
somebody would have claimed him, meaning, oh, it's this faction. It's because you didn't do anything about this faction. You get it?
They'd have spoke.
They would have been more. The lines would have been more linear. They would have been
in the
there.
newspapers and the
Correct.
news stations wouldn't be saying, "Hey,
but
they're not asking for money."
Right. Everything's so blurry. I don't think it's political, and a lot of people don't think it's political.
So
either.
you think it's not A, B, it's possibly C. It was something local, jealousy over the 5-6. There was a third possibility. You're
Well,
thinking it's C.
yeah. Well, I think it's more it's 5-6. To be honest with you, my personal opinion, my speculation is again, it's because of the 5-6.
Tony Manning said 2. Pat said 2. Sarah says he's alive. Sam Sag said 1. He's alive. A lot of 2. Sam, the realtor, 2. Bear in the Philippines, 2. Yeah, it's gonna be. And then we can pray. Philippines live.
2
on
ex-husband
Facebook,
hired it
Christmas,
done.
No word.
Oh
or
damn!
deed. Yeah.
It's wow.
Are you at the top of all the statements?
No, I'm going through the numbers. Let's see, like
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, as you're reading them, I'm going through the numbers. Yeah. Okay.
That he said, "Oh, for girl, for real." He initially said, "See, until I started watching his videos, like his shorts today, I knew he had been to Africa and he'd been to one other place. But when I went in there, it showed him with other guys. Now they could have just been other expats in the area at the time, but he has traveled to other areas that have had danger. But this time, when he went there, he said it's because he was friended by another girl. Something happened. It all went south for those that just joined, and he met with this other girl. And so,
Well, for
and you would have to be careful. That's in real life. Let's say this all happened in, let's say near us, Mexico, Philippines, which is a little bit more out in the what I would call the stick area. If you guys are in a small area like that area, and another girl immediately would, you would click with her right away. I mean, because she said she knew that she was with somebody at the time, but she was still making eyes and smiling at him and all. You just got to be careful about every single thing, because I still, in reading people's statements, think there could be a third part to this, that the family may know more than they're saying for protection of other people, protection of themselves, or as others have said, possibly, maybe involved. So,
all right. Now, okay. So, oh, by the way, just so you guys know, again, I usually allow you to say a lot of stuff, and you have a lot of freedom of speech as far as. However, this particular gentleman has gone 3 strikes and they're out just on this live alone. I mean, it's been more than that, and I've been very lenient. However, there's limits. You can attack, us. You can attack, but he kept attacking and even talking bad about our guests and whatever. And
what's that?
oh, him. Anyway, yeah. So now.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I don't say that. Actually, I don't say that stuff.
Yeah, and wait a minute. Well, there it is.
Yeah.
So the fact you're doing that means you've been hiding behind a name, and you're probably some of the other people. But yeah. So.
Now.
Yeah. So.
Again, like I said, the thing is, I don't say that. I actually don't. I actually even say, okay, well, there's certain areas that are safe. There are certain areas. And actually, I was going to bring up, like, what Cedric Edwards says. Remember, he's in Zamboanga del Norte. And Heidi actually mentioned Mexico earlier. Actually, I was going to go in that direction, which is, again, George, I was home in August, driveway. So nice home. So some mornings I would just go in the car and go driving for a couple hours. And then Heidi mentions Mexico. Now, the reason why I brought this up and mentioned what Heidi says, because I was going to go there. What I'm saying is, there are areas that are... Zamboanga del Norte is a big area. Okay? Kind of like Angel City. Angel City's huge, guys. It's massive. Again, I don't know why everybody talks about Walking Street. A lot of Angel City people don't even know what Walking Street is. No, really.
It's only...
They don't. They're like, what's that? Where's that at?
It's just a small area.
It's a tiny area that... you drive by and don't even notice it exists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, really. True story. A lot of Filipinos aren't even aware of Walking Street. So, same thing. Zamboanga del Norte is a huge area. And the reason why I brought this up is because also Heidi brought up Mexico. Mexico. I was over there before we moved over here. I was looking for a place, right, for us to move to. And again, they literally said, you know, this place is probably okay for you to live in. That's what they told me. But regarding your wife, I don't know.
Right. Here, 1 second.
So anyway, so like I said,
Ah,
again, they literally again told me that it's okay for you to live here, but as far as your wife, I don't know.
yeah, you could always
They
go
the
a couple
locals
blocks
actually
over.
said that. The locals said it.
It's like that in the United States.
Right.
I feel safer here than I did in Mexico and the United States at this point. There was a lot
Right.
going on, and I'm sure even now, 3 years that I haven't been there, that
Now,
there's a lot going on.
keep in mind also Mexico is a big place. That's only in that particular area what I was looking at. That she's kind of probably shouldn't be there. Now I'm gonna go move it further, further past Mexico. Past Mexico is this place called Arayat. Arayat is that big giant mountain that you see in most Angeles City vlogs. What's that?
Real quick, Sarah, no, we haven't held anything. It's just asking, did you hold a comment? No, we haven't. I don't see anything held.
Yeah.
Remember, certain words are held by YouTube. I don't see anything held looking into the live itself.
Now again, so past Mexico, this place called Arayat. Now Mexico is somewhat is provincial, pretty much. Arayat is provincial too. There's a reason why I brought that up again. Now Arayat again is that big giant mountain, but in that area, of course, it's still called Arayat. And there's expats that live there. Glenn is over there too. Hi, Glenn, if you're watching. And there's certain places in Arayat that expats shouldn't go to. I'm gonna be blunt with you. If you live in Arayat, which I'm sure somebody's watching in Arayat. I'm not saying the place you're living in is not safe. I'm saying there's certain places in Arayat you should not go to as an expat.
Yeah.
And locals will tell you this if they see you and they're like, you probably shouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying?
Have you covered all the ones at the top to address each one, or you're just going to start addressing the ones at the bottom?
No. Well, that's why I'm on the bottom. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Angela says no food. And, yeah, no food. They probably give him little to no food, and yeah, he's probably bled out already. Yes. Cedric ever says joining the panel looks fun. Lou says the Philippines full of chismes, and the mayor has a reward of 25,000 pesos for a lead. So he says two. Philippines live on Facebook and chismes, no word or lead. Oh, there's no. Yeah, he's saying there's no lead. This is all for.
No, I think basically he's saying the Philippines live on Facebook and chismes. In other words, I have noticed this. They also claim within the Philippines that's where everybody, the Filipinos, are always on Facebook. As a matter of fact, it's still true that if you're like, we were looking for somebody to work on our generator, I had to go through Facebook just to find that, and I'm still not finding anybody. I even asked the landlord, and he says, yeah, I don't know anybody that works on it. So it's kind of strange how, it's not like the U.S. where you can actually find certain businesses. It's usually all through Facebook, and they don't have websites either. They'll run it through Facebook. So when you click on where it says website, it goes straight to Facebook. That's true.
Brian Thompson says, now, again, this is not speculation. This is real, and most of the accusations against this gentleman, again, there is a legitimacy to it.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. And Brian Thompson says That vlogger who became a Filipino citizen is not helping. Making foreigners think you can just go in any dangerous areas and have not problems. Correct.
Yeah, because he
Yes.
said he's been to most of those
Yes,
areas.
and he has been heavily criticized for this. Correct.
Which I get it also. I mean, I get why. It's kind of like if somebody would say that about every area in the United States, there's, there's going to be somebody that's going to go to those areas, and there's always good people in bad areas, and people shouldn't have to pay because you can't get tourism in certain places. So for the most part, that's another one I'm on the fence for. I highly praise him for showing the Philippines beauty and getting out there and showing areas that need tourism. And he's also making a buck off of it. So it's kind of like CNN and Fox and all the rest of them, they want that bad news, they want that good news. And I think he's out there doing it because it's a living. And so I'm kind of like on the fence, but on the other hand, it's really bad. We've both said it in conversations. It's really bad also that it gives a perception that you can just arrive anywhere like you can,
Right now, this gentleman
like
again,
Disney.
it was part of the Fighter Boys. In fact, now here this part is speculate. Well, let me tell you a fact real quick. His friend Finn Snow works for the Department of Tourism. Fact, publicly stated. Actually, on his title, it's one of his titles. Department of Tourism Ambassador or something like that. Now, the reason why I brought this up is again this gentleman that became a citizen. Keep in mind that he, again, the speculation. Okay, speculation, not just by me. A lot of people actually it wasn't me that came up with it. A lot of people did. They speculate that this gentleman that Brian Thompson was talking about that he works for the Department of Tourism on the down low. Why? Because again, as Brian Thompson says, making foreigners think you can just go into any dangerous areas and have not problems. Correct.
Because it may seem like it's forever been like this. Prior to the pandemic, there was only a handful of like true vloggers, and there was all of these things like TikTok and social media popping prior to pandemic. Yes, but I would say where it's at 200% right now, it was probably at like 40 and 50%. There wasn't, but like we watched like how booming like people why they were locked down in their houses really became efficient at vlogging. A bunch of them wanted to do it for money and for other things. So he it's about money for him, but yes, there is a big speculation in the long run that he's part of tourism. And
Cedric says it's campaign season for upcoming elections already. Every expat has to be careful. See, Neil, I kind of somewhat agree. Somewhat, I said somewhat. I wouldn't be surprised if the family was involved, though not the wife.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I figured. Lou, it's difficult to explain how big Philippines to people that have never. Yeah, see, that's what I keep saying again. These expats make it sound like Walking Street is Angel City, like Angel City without Walking Street. Oh my God!
George.
What's that?
You always do this. Why you always do this, George? Why we have to go through this every time?
Because that's what he just said. It's the scale of things are out of proportion. Chosen one, honestly, how big is Walking Street?
Walking Street is extremely small. It's tiny. It's very, very tiny. And there's only a few bars. And you know what? And to be honest with you, it's Walking Street in itself, even after the pandemic, it's actually a scam. Guess what? There's a lot of tourists all over the world that come to the Philippines just for Walking Street. And I tell you, ever since the pandemic, it's all a scam. There is nothing on Walking Street. I don't know how they keep this up. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Right, and then that's the funny thing is, again, honestly, okay, the significance of Walking Street again. Just real quick, guys, I get it. I get the allure of girls and or guys again, because there's guys down there too that work for a living. Um, the pros, as I would say, or the legends, as the internet calls them, the legends know not to go to Walking Street. Go to the perimeter of Walking Street. Right, chosen one?
Actually, perimeter is dead.
No.
Most of the
Not perimeter road. Go to the perimeter, the outlying areas of Walking Street. You don't go to the heart
oh,
of
I
Walking
thought you were
Street.
talking about perimeter road.
Right,
Yeah,
right. No, I'm not talking
perimeter
about
road.
perimeter road. I'm talking about the perimeter of
Yeah,
Walking Street itself. You don't go to the heart of Walking Street to have a good time. You go in the outskirts of Walking Street, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everything's there on Walking Street. Cedric said, it's too bad Angeles City is so far from the airport. We are flying up on the 26th. Wife's visa interview on the 31st. Then it says he's visiting his sister in Butuan
Oh, he's
and
going to
looking at
Manila.
property. Well, yeah, if he's coming
He's
in
going
in
to
Manila,
Manila.
it
He's
would
going
be,
to Manila.
yeah, if it was just here.
No, he's going to immigration headquarters.
Yeah.
Manila. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, about what, 60 miles, give or take. So,
Yeah, again, it's not the distance, guys. It's not the distance.
That's actually what it is.
Yeah.
So,
But I would like to say that I love perimeter road.
oh, there you
It's
go.
chosen. It's
I
chosen
like
one
Don
by
Waco.
strictly just dudes, Mr. Merciful. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Look. I have a lot of haters. Everybody knows I have haters. Okay, we 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 let them go. Just let them go. Don't let them go. Let them go. I have many haters. It's no secret. I am the chosen one.
There you
I
go.
am the chosen one. A good sport. It's not about good sport. It's just that I don't care. Trust me. It's like I'm just on a different plateau. I don't operate on the same frequency as most expats. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I just don't give a shit. Let me just say that. I just don't care. Like it is what it is. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Jeffrey says, to be honest, look at the facts. They took a speedboat, which means they went to from Zamboanga del Norte or maybe Holo Island vicinity. Correct. The question nobody asks is, after the war, why would they risk it? No, again, that's a no-go zone for law enforcement in general. That's what it is. And Salem says, Araya has a history of heavy NPA presence. Correct. NPA again is our insurgents. A nice way of saying it. NPA are insurgents, and there's certain areas in a riot with heavy NPA presence, and that's why a lot of people say don't go in certain areas. Okay. Sadie says there's a large Filipino community in Mexico, aka first settlers to the Philippines.
Yeah.
Supreme Black says you had me at speedboat. There you go.
Right.
Thaddeus says Facebook is a hack fest. Well, Mr. Merciful says NPA is weak and literally starving in the majority of the Philippines. Correct. NPA is not a force to be reckoned with as far as presence. Correct. It has a weak presence, and honestly, it's. I'm trying to be politically correct here, but it's not.
I think he means they're literally weak and starving.
No. I know
Okay.
that, but what I'm saying is, be aware also that these are not Muslim radicals either. They're not. They're again. I'm trying to be politically correct here. So anyway, bottom line, yes.
You think they're the same as the generations past? You think the newer ones are a little bit more woke, a little bit literally more weaker than the
Yeah, you have to
previous ones?
remember that the
What their
NPA
grandfather might have been and
believe in their beliefs. What I'm saying is
have changed.
they don't really, they mean well, and they're for the most part a lot of Filipinos. I'm going to tell you right now, they'll tell you that actually most NPA people are nice people.
Well, or actually any of them, just like the cartel and stuff. You wouldn't even know
Yeah,
if
you
you met
wouldn't
them at the
know.
mall. You could
You
be
wouldn't
sitting there and they'd
know.
pick something up if you dropped
You
it.
wouldn't know their
Situation.
cartel unless because that's
Yeah.
But
And can I
Muslim
say
radicals
one
is a
thing real
different
quick?
story.
Just one thing real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Appreciate it. No, Sarah. I am not the content. Actually, I spend most of my time when I do not cam up, but when I mic up, I just stay in the background. But you always be trying to flirt with me or something. I don't know. You trying to get some splunking on or something? I mean, what you trying to do? I let the chat have their chat. I don't do nothing. I let them go. This is not my channel. I'm just simply wherever I can add information, that's what I do, Sarah. Okay? You need to
There it
calm down.
is.
Yeah. Sarah Edwards says our home is
Yeah, it
surrounded by
says.
rice farmers, squatters, and the like. We have a barbed wire up, even though I think we're okay. Yeah, again, it's standard. It's no big deal. Now Salem, this is actually true. Kulas is just lucky. Well, I wouldn't say just lucky. Not deserving, in my opinion. Many foreigners followed the process. He had a fast track. And again, the consensus on the conspiracy theory is again, Kulas works for the Department of Tourism of the Philippines.
You think that's why he might have been untouched at some point, being he built that house, the restaurant with Mama, whatever, the fighter boys out there always.
Well, and
a lot of different things going
like
on.
Salem says, that somehow he has a fast track. Because again, the conspiracy theory is he works for the Department of Tourism.
And he is like only number, how many? I said 14 and getting citizenship here. I get he speaks the language and everything else, but I mean, he got in, didn't he? I think the prior guy was a basketball player or something.
Yeah.
So,
Thaddeus says Finn Snow's not married yet.
I thought he was.
Sarah Tyson says those vloggers tell people to contact Department of
DOT if
Transportation if you want to
visit.
visit some places.
Yeah. My wife lived
Live in Doe,
down,
never on Wall Street.
never on Walking Street. Yeah, yeah. We have to remind every now and then that it's not all, and there are places right on the outskirts like we are. It doesn't take a mile, but to get into the Angeles area, it's only,
Sarah Tyson, well, Elliot opened the doors to scrutinize an area by agencies otherwise not welcome. Yeah. Sam Sack says Kulas visited red zones, but had armed guards at least 5 steps away. Department of Tourism should have an eye out on him.
My question is why Mr. Merciful would ask such a question of a guest when that's nowhere even. I mean, I get that we wandered off into some of the walking street things, but why would you ask a guest that, He's always been out there. Did you see what he asked?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But no,
so
he responded.
Yeah.
No,
I totally missed
I mean,
what he
Chosen
was
one did.
answering. Yeah.
Chosen one responded. Yeah. That's why he says you're a good
Oh,
sport. Yeah, no, he
My
responded.
coffee's wearing off.
Sarah Edwards says Commander Dowd, again a friend of Kulas, also a vlogger, going to the dangerous areas, making it all look nice and friendly.
True. And we talked about some like for the last few years we've added that in, and then all of a sudden it was us bashing vloggers all the time, and now we just choose all kinds of people to talk about. But in general, we used to talk a lot about that, and then it was, oh, you're just jealous of this and that. It was like, no, it's leading people on to go to certain areas they really should consider, and then if they do, then it would be, who knows? Bad or bougie? Bad and bougie. Who's bad and bougie?
I don't know. That's why I wasn't gonna read it because it's disembodied.
Disembodied.
Yeah. Angelo
True.
says maybe just family issues or setup.
Well, that was the third part we said.
Yeah.
Could it be
could be
family issues or a setup? And also, it's been said, is it within the actual family? Could this be with the different things that happen here in the Philippines? It wouldn't be the first time that an expat's been scammed by a Filipino. Not saying that she is, just giving a scenario. It would not be the first time that there's been something similar. This seems to be a little extreme to bring somebody in that is. Some people are like, yes, he is technically broke. Yes, he is broke. For the most part, if he's got to work, grab an Uber and do that, or grab an Uber to actually make money delivering food, and then he gets a bunch of it, and then he comes back and he has to do that, and that is his main job. He can't be too rich. He seems to be in a middle class family. All of that is shown on his page. So, but the stuff that he brings to the party down there does make him appear to be extremely rich, and they don't know. Their
No,
imaginations
he
are
does.
going
He does.
wild. So
Again, it's not.
yeah,
Remember, we're not looking at it at our level. We're looking at other people's levels. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Like certain rich people, I'm sure they do certain things that to them it's normal, but to us, it's like, oh, that's so extravagant. You know, that kind of deal. Something simple, something so simple can be misconstrued. For example, you know how Filipinos save everything, meaning, they buy something, they get a container. For example, Lily's peanut butter. Lily's peanut butter, sorry. Lily's peanut butter container is literally a glass designed to be saved. No, really, it's literally a drinking glass. Once you clean all the peanut butter out, it's a drinking glass. Honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of expats throw that crap away. But guess what? Your neighbor probably look at you. Oh, look at that. He thinks he's rich because he throws away the peanut butter container.
yeah.
Something so simple. Benny
Hey.
said it's kind of like what Heidi said about him showing core up Liberian police on his channel. Samsag,
Yeah.
K Fair, and Kulas are fake. Now this is real. Billy Paro says fighting with the southern Philippine Islands is when the USA started using 45 caliber rounds, correct? And the 38 did not have the stopping power to stop the Filipinos, correct?
And
Filipinos back then during that war, they only had machetes. They didn't have firearms. And no, the Americans, when they were basically trying to mow the Filipinos down, they just kept on coming, and they get hacked to pieces.
And here's something that other people don't talk about too often. They might have here and there. I'm not going to discount how much has been talked about, but with all this happening, we're now like isolating that area. Understand, let's say we took a trip from here to there right now to go down there. You don't know who you're going to run into from here to there on the road, where, who's good cop, who's bad cop, who's good barangay, who's bad barangay, where we may not drive through. Like right now, they're probably pardoning off all these areas. You don't know who may ask you for extra money, like, as an expat or something, seeing you as another American. In other words, you might run into, I'm not saying it will happen. What I'm saying is this is a country where things can be bought. And again, you don't know who's good cop, who's bad cop.
It's not your
what's
territory.
corrupt and what's not
Yeah,
corrupt.
it's not your territory.
And a lot of things happened. We've seen a lot of things happen during the pandemic where people were traveling and they actually held them there on purpose in an area, where they tried to quarantine them and wouldn't let them out and stuff. And I'm sure they had to buy their way out of it. But you don't know in a small area that you're passing through who might actually stop you, kind of like in Mexico was that type of situation. So it's just not like arriving there and that you're okay. You just don't know what will actually happen in certain areas of the Philippines. So it's just not,
Right, and that's why, again, Serving Blackies, that's why I keep saying. Now, Serving Blackies says, folks are painting southern Mindanao as somewhat Wild West. It's not. Again, that's why I said it's only certain areas are. But the problem you face is you don't know the actual real red zones. Again, it's hard to tell, again, if you're not a local. Even if you're local, even then, it's not like they spray paint a line and says, don't go past this line. You know what I'm saying? There's no physical barrier to stop you, really.
there's a partial truth in what's being listed from.
No,
I
no,
get
no.
the U.S. government is a little extreme on things, and they either care or they don't care, and it's kind of off. But they list those areas for specific reasons.
Right. Well,
And that area was known as the capital of the world. Now, is that only because one article did this or one did that, or like where they get their information? I don't trust where they all get this information, but it's, I mean, you still have to take precaution. But this will, no matter what, actually paint that whole area.
Well, that's why I said
bad light and
Zamboanga
make
del
it-
Norte is a big area. It's not saying Zamboanga, you know, again.
And yes, 99% of them can be absolutely wonderful and beautiful. It only takes one bad cat. Kind of like them, like I said, I talked about the two pedos that
Oh, dang,
arrived here that made everybody
Sarah.
else look bad.
Sarah says, tourism, George Coulis is full of himself. Dang. He just went for the gut there. Wow. Oh, that's Sam Sag that says Coulis is full of himself. Yeah. Yeah, but Sarah says it's for tourism.
Hillbilly Power, if you're not wanted in an area, why would you
See,
push
that's
your
the
luck?
thing. It's
Government
one thing
told him,
if
embassy,
locals told him. That's
his
your
family
first
told
clue.
him.
Right,
Her
right,
family.
right. Correct.
They all
correct.
told him, but
Well, which is the local again.
and we thought about that he was young.
If locals
he
tell
was
you,
just
that's
throwing
probably
caution.
something you shouldn't do. Correct.
Yeah.
Chosen One says, I'm not the spotlight. I just enjoy chatting with friends. Hillbilly Power says, why is
Yeah.
peanut butter so costly in the Philippines?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on which peanut butter you're going for. Lily's, I think, is one of the best brands out there. It's 150 for literally a glass. 150 pesos
Yeah,
for
but
a glass.
still $3 when somebody's making 1,000 pesos a day. That
Well,
would still
that's-
seem high to
that's-
a, you know.
Again, that's the high-end Filipino stuff.
Because they don't have a lot of nuts here in the Philippines.
But the same size, Enos peanut butter is 100 pesos. I guess that's $2 still. But I think it's really good. In fact, Lily's is, to me, in my opinion, is too sweet. Enos is just a tad not as sweet, and I prefer Enos peanut butter than Lily's.
We always use the glass jars. Yeah, my mom
West
did.
Virginia, yeah. Well, yeah, you use it. Yeah, you save the jar as a container or as a cup. Now they sell
There's a big
they sell
family.
jars without even lids for you to drink at. It's
Yeah,
kind
a
of
lot
funny
of
how that
people,
works,
yeah.
right?
That was up north, yeah.
Right.
In the 80s, yeah. Unless we got a bunch of those glasses, the Looney Tune glasses they were selling at McDonald's, but my mom didn't do a lot of fast food, so that was just something.
Oh, thank you so
that
much,
was
Chosen One. I
rare.
appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Chosen
We always
One. I
appreciate you.
it.
And again, Chosen One, you're always
Aw.
welcome to again say your opinion against us. Again, we know how you are. I mean, you know. Fatty says there are red zones in Manila. Yes, again, there's red zones everywhere. It's not just, you know, even Angeles. There's zones I won't go to. I know certain red zones here personally, you know.
And I wanted to say that brings to light for me on Chosen One when it's constructive criticism, when it's, you know, you're able to voice what you have to say about what's going on and not coming in just to tear everything down, tear us down, or what you think is tearing us down. Then it's not a problem that people come in here. There are some people where many of the vloggers, we've been at this so long, we can tell when something looks trollish and when not. And we know people will kind of be in that situation, but usually they're always in here. They support by watching us, commenting. The ones that just come right in and, you know, we can kind of tell that. And those are the ones that have actually, you know, where we've gone in and had to block or something. And I just want to say that because when, you know, when he says that, we don't mind good and bad comments as long as they're dealing in
Right, and that gentleman was in our chats for a long
forever.
time.
No, but some will go that far out of the way just to come back through, and we get it. We're like onto it, and everybody has been welcome at some point, but you know, yeah,
right. But if you're just, you know, going into again like a town hall and just all you do is pick fights, then you probably shouldn't be there.
Well, they'll be kicked out of town halls. What will end up
well,
happening?
that's what I said.
So,
yeah, you probably
or
shouldn't
not
be there,
welcome, and that goes for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Salem says Kulas was a tool by San Pedro Laguna Congresswoman. She pushed for his citizenship. Quite unfair to others who are in line with at immigration. He's just a bohemian vlogger and add nothing to the community.
Interesting. That's a way to. Yeah.
Aw, Barry in the PI says he has a sharp brownout. Knock me off here. Aw. Hey, Barry.
Hey.
Second one says, I'm a Skippy boy. You like Skippy peanut butter. Yeah, see, for example, if you're a Skippy peanut butter lover, you probably won't like Lily's because Lily's really sweet. But a lot of people love it sweet. I love it sweet too. But sometimes too sweet is too sweet. And that's why Heidi always says, not today, George, not today.
And I was just thinking also, people in the past, just not one person, since our experience in the last few years used to say we hide all the serious comments and that we try to control the narrative. We're not CNN or on one public side or the other. We just, they usually end up being inappropriate. So we're talking about like totally inappropriate, have nothing to do with the Philippines, had nothing to do with the subject, had nothing to do. Usually they're directed at us personally or other people. And why would we leave? It's just weird. It's weird, even if it's something light,
Right.
So I just thought about that. We do not try to control the narrative. The ones that,
Yes.
Just
Take it at face value. Nick Fury says, I'm a vlogger in Mindanao and a former law enforcement officer. There is a lot going on behind the scenes that people aren't picking up on the news.
Yes, I'm sure of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We're saying earlier that there's a bunch more information from just like backtracks, other Filipinos. Got to understand, George sits there and watches what the other Filipinos are saying in that area. Of course, there's a ton more going on. We just cannot ourselves display. We said that at the very beginning. There's a lot going on. So, but.
Oh, I just realized. Yeah, it is back on Philippine pesos. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Chosen One's definitely back in. I mean, I believed him, of course, but usually you can tell even if you don't ask where Chosen One is because his monetary value changes per country. If you guys pay attention. For example, he was in Thailand. It changed to baht. He was in the U.S. It changed to dollars. Second one says yes, and us rednecks use mason jars. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul says
Hey,
UK government
Focus Asia.
always stay clear of the area, and if you go there vlogging advertising, you're living there, they're lending money, so you are in danger. Yes, correct.
I think he cut into somebody's business, but I still think they at least know, like somebody with way down the line or in the line might know what's going on or what did go on.
Oh, yeah.
Just not going to say anything.
That's another thing that's somewhat important to keep in mind. Angelo says, I lived in Parañaque, it's still dangerous. Certain parts of Parañaque, yes. Now, the thing is, as a general rule, in the daytime, for the most part, I said for the most part. In the daytime, for the most part, most places are relatively safe. But when the sun goes down and you're still there, that's where the real question is. You know what I'm saying? For example, certain areas in Mexico, in the Philippines, Mexico and the Philippines, well, even in Mexico, in daytime they're safe, but when the sun comes down, you don't want to be there as an expat. JR is with us today. Morning, George and Heidi. Hey, JR, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Chosen One says, I never had a bad bone in my body. It's never personal. Yeah, and Chosen One picks on everybody. Mm-hmm. Again, just to let you guys know.
And honestly, we really don't mind. We got used to it. And we really mean that. But there's like some absolute extremes, and there's just no reason whatsoever except for their amusement to actually answer them or address and at that point, if they keep on, it's free to watch. It's not free to sit there and make the comments against whatever. So it's
yeah, and you can disagree with us. Again, I have disagreed with a few things George and Heidi have said, but you don't see me trying to be mean, correct?
We're not even worried about mean. Some of it just doesn't apply.
Right.
I mean,
correct.
Some
picking
of
on the guests, picking on the people in the chat, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot. They know. we shouldn't. It's sad that we would even have to say it.
Yeah.
But it's, it seems to be
And the Excalibur team says would like to see Chosen One on cam like everyone else when they come on.
interesting.
He
So
doesn't have to, because the
No.
reason why you're like, why? Because we know him personally.
we've met him several times.
Personally. Like, touch his face
And we've
personally.
said that, but funny that certain people, okay, and I'll just put it out there, have been in other channels in their live streams and don't mind that most of them these days do not have the actual, they don't cam up. They just leave themselves like that. And we've let other people in the past actually come on that actually aren't, but we've had to change the actual, a couple bad seeds made it bad for totally opening up the panel, and they proved that the last 3 live streams why we don't anymore. So, and it doesn't mean they're putting, like, the one actually went back to his channel and he actually proclaimed that he exposed us, and it's like, and what? And nothing. So it was just kind of weird, but either way, it's, it is.
Yeah, now,
It is what it is.
Barry in the PI makes a good point. I think he's still alive. They need that ransom money, so they would get some treatment on his leg if he died. They would still try to get some money for the release of the body. Correct.
Yeah, but they haven't. The weird part is they haven't asked, and now the Philippine government news or whatever, even there's a government newspaper itself just said recently, it's almost been 5 days, they haven't asked for nothing, which would probably be highly unlikely. They may hold the people for a while, but they would have said something by now. That's why I don't think it's that fraction. I
Yeah.
still think it's somebody personally that nabbed them or
Yeah,
got
some
at 'em or
people think the
something.
same way, yes. Victoria says, later peeps, I have an appointment. Now, Thaddeus
Bye,
says,
Victoria.
safe and tourist area, aka Fields Avenue, just use your senses. Now, actually, thanks for bringing that up. A good example is Walking Street. Now, Walking Street is relatively safe. Okay, I said relatively because, again, but for example, Astro Park is it's a nice place to visit during the daytime. You see a lot of families go there, play, have a picnic, all that kind of stuff. At nighttime, don't go there, guys. You're asking for trouble. That's where people get mugged, get pickpocketed, get robbed. Don't go at Astro Park at nighttime. And where's Astro Park at? Literally across the street from Walking Street. Literally across the street from Envy. Literally across the street from Phillies.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, so again, Serving Black says I don't know. Yeah, I know. All this cool ass dislikes here. Justin Rogers says Typhoon will be here tomorrow. Really, Typhoon? Yikes. Depending on your area, and again, it's kind of. I thought it was $500. No, he's in the Philippines now. Yeah.
I don't feel that the opinion or saying those things don't mean we dislike them. We still have watched them and said a lot of praises about them. It's just in general conversation. I forgot what somebody said the other day in a comment. I'll have to find it, but it was something along that line. I said sometimes it can be both in the same, but in this manner, I wouldn't. Unless somebody actually says, I hate Pulos, I can't see that it's a. I just think they have an opinion about what he's doing. It doesn't mean a dislike because, you see what I mean? Or no, you don't.
No, it doesn't mean stating what he's doing is hatred or dislike for the guy.
It's just a real truth there.
And again, it's just a speculation on certain. Speculating that he works for the Department of Tourism does not necessarily mean. Because again, actually,
Yeah,
that
be
did
like,
not come from us. That's from other outside sources.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like yeah, it'd be like when we get the opinion. Never mind, I'm not going to go into.
Well, what I'm saying is honestly, I don't care whether he works for the Department of Tourism or not. But if he did, it would make sense on the stuff he does. You know what I'm saying? It kind of
And he's
makes
a
the
vlogger.
makes the
Things
puzzle
are
complete. It's like
brought to light, and now with this kidnapping, I'm sure it's on the mind of a lot of people that know he does that and say,
right.
I'm sure he's already heard people blame him for that. So
Now that's another thing, guys. Keep in mind that here we're in metric. Focus on Asia says, isn't that a tropical depression with 40-kilometer winds? That means 20 mph. Again, remember here
yeah,
it's
there's
in
one
kilometers
that's what
per
I'm
hour.
looking for now, but I don't know.
But I try to convert it for you guys. Again, for example, like I say, oh, these tricycle drivers, they drive at 15 miles per hour, which is really, really slow. Anyway, LG says getting Filipino citizenship means nothing if that person does not renounce his original citizenship. Just another document. Supposedly that's signal number 1. There you go. Paul says, I walked through a very dangerous place in Quezon City, very scary, and never again. Again, there's certain areas where, yeah, I mean, and I'm sure Paul, like, either didn't know at that time it was that dangerous, or he didn't know he had to go through that area to get to a particular place, because some places you have no choice but to go there. But I'm sure from now on he won't do that again. Yeah, like I said. Focus on Asia says, I don't think anyone's fighting to get a Philippine citizenship, but vice versa, getting a U.S. Filipino, if Filipino obviously has many advantages.
Yeah, I mean the only reason would be is kind of like the U.S. when people get U.S. citizenship, it actually you don't have to fight with immigration all the time. You don't have to worry about, and you're able to apply for a lot more things easier. So there is some benefits. I mean, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's been about the publicity, and it's been part of his journey. He says it was, and I know he's made full speeches, but I always highly believe it's a career, and it was a move for his career. So they say, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, and Serving Black says there's probably more violence in Tondo, Manila than Zamboanga.
That's probably true.
Actually, there's more
around,
violence in Naklan, yes, but keep in mind that this violence is more Filipino versus Filipino. Just saying.
Yeah, you would just be still seen as rich, and it might happen sooner than later.
Right.
You just wouldn't put yourself into that. And a lot of that what I call slum vlogging that you see now, where they're walking through there, several of them are police officers, several of them are Filipinos. Them are not like, expats walking through there that are. I used to think it was in the beginning when they first started, and I was like, his reflection, he's in a uniform. So yeah, they're actually recording as they're working. So
now, actually, Streak actually says, why go to Mindanao? The usual reason. It's cheap. Yes, it's relatively cheaper. Relatively cheaper.
They could have went somewhere else.
Yeah.
For the most part, could be because
you can go different places in
woman's
Mindanao. Yeah, you don't have to live in that area. You can go different places in Mindanao.
We could probably save
still cheaper.
We could save half the money if we just move 40 miles in another, or even 20 in another direction.
Correct.
Right now. Half the money.
Correct.
So we're already paying inexpensive.
Right. Someone says I'm camera shy, plus I'm ugly. Lol.
Yeah, Mindanao was probably because of the lady. He went to go see one. Something happened. Him and her hooked up, and when I say hooked up, they really have a love story. And they're super, super young, and he went back, and he's been going back and forth, making the money and everything through, delivery driving, and it's sad. It's really the whole situation. The more and more we think about it, is sad. So
yeah, Paul says every country has no-go areas. Just be careful and please, and take government advice. Now, again, to be clear, just so you guys know that we don't know what the full situation is, because what I'm saying is, for example, he got married to a Filipino, right? And he says, is it safe there? Here's the problem. That question could be, she answered in her mind, in her terms, meaning, well, yeah, it's safe here. I've never had any problems here. Most people don't have problems here. Yeah, as a Filipino.
I'm gonna give you guys some new advice.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't trust the U.S. government if you inside the United States. But on the outside of the United States, if the U.S. government has something to say on the outside, like don't go into Tondo, it's a danger zone, I would suggest you guys listen. Don't get it. Don't trust the government when you living in the U.S. When
Right.
you outside,
Well,
I would take that
okay,
little
okay.
bit of advice and listen to them when they say
Since
don't go into
since
certain parts
Heidi
of
brought
Africa.
up Tondo, okay,
Well, or certain
here-
parts,
there
just don't go.
Tondo is a dangerous area for Filipinos and foreigners alike. Probably more for foreigners. Do expats live there? A lot of them live in Tondo.
Yeah, a lot more than you
But
guys
do they
think.
survive? Yes. You know why? Because they keep their heads down.
And there's a bunch of them that live in the Mindanao area. I just think
And
most
I'm
of
sure
them
they don't do 5-6s.
just a lot of them don't live in certain areas, probably from experience and from family saying. If George says don't do this, and that, and trust me about being here and there, when we started looking for places, he talked with the locals and we actually knew where to go. And then we've heard people say, oh, you guys are living in a shithole there and you're living in a shithole there. And it's like, yeah, but there's many reasons we are, and we like where we are, and the people are nice. I don't care if I'm in a box on this lot. This is where we are for where we actually are, and this is where we're happy. We're within the area of everything. There's reasons to choose places, but listen to, for the most part, listen to your lady or husband that's Filipino. It'd be any country. You'd be listening to your spouse if you were in Mexico. You'd be listening to
Well,
them
if
if you're in
they're
Africa or
if they're
Italy or.
if they're lucid enough. What I mean is, again, the problem is, I don't think his partner was.
I think she was wearing the pants. She sure seemed to be leading that
Well,
conversation,
see, that's what
and
I'm
she was running.
saying.
To
I
me, she
don't
was
think
running
she
everything.
didn't. I don't think she considered that he's a foreigner.
The family told him no, allegedly. So remember, this is all by paper.
Well,
We were
that's
not
the
there.
thing. The family, not necessarily his wife.
Mm.
I mean, it's possible she said no, don't live here, but she says, oh, it'll be okay. I don't know. We don't know the situation.
They told him a couple different things.
Yeah.
But, anyways, can we?
Yeah, I'm
Please.
trying. Mr. Mercer says because it's beautiful, and these bad areas are only a few areas. These are,
Gammon.
yeah, no, and again, like
Yeah,
there-
there's a lot of
there's pockets,
expats
yes.
living there.
Road trip from Genson to Davao, it's beautiful. Both these cities are worth a visit too.
I think Davao would be neat to see. That's on one of my lists.
No. You should come up, but there's a difference if they're already vetted. You know what I'm saying? For example, if Mike's Philippine Journey decides not to, yeah, fine.
For good reasons. We've been running this channel for a few years, and you're always going to have bad people that mess it up for everybody. And we are not in the business of business like other channels are. And we're not talking just expat channels. We're talking about ones in the US right now that do these gossip channels on the celebrities and everything, and all these hundreds of people pour into the room, or 100 people pour into the room, and they don't mind this, and that. That's not what we're running, and we're not running, the networks they did a few years ago here where they all attacked everybody, and we're not having that here. And from experience, the others have messed it up. There has been too many that have come in and said stupid stuff. We're talking not only flat out guests that we thought we knew, or ones that just come on quick enough to scream something, or ones that have just, it's kind of hard to explain, but it happened too many times in the last few months. And unfortunately, for that reason, we're just not going to open up a panel of 9 people just to come in. It's just not going to happen. So yes, it has to be somebody that's vetted. That's a member. That's a Patreon. That's a vlogger that we've actually been in communication or actually seen, and just where it's going to be, because there are too many out there. We know that. You guys know that. You're what do they call that? Got sock puppet accounts, and you guys know what time it is. And so we really shouldn't have to explain why we're doing it, but we do appreciate those that watch. We know we have hardcore audiences, and those are the ones that are actually been allowed on here. So it's not, somebody said it was favoritism on who we let on, and it's like, yeah, let's see. Even if your account says 3 years, you could be XYZ that created 10, 12 accounts a couple years ago. So we're on to all of that, and we're just not going to have it. So
LG said he's dead, bled out on the boat, so no request for ransom. Mr. Mercer says they will ask for money to release the body. They will ask for the money regardless whether he's alive or not.
yeah, but don't you think even within, you think they'll just do
I
it on the
don't
down
think
low?
it's.
We won't hear it
I don't think
publicly.
it's
It'll go through the
monetary.
embassy.
I don't think they're trying to get money.
If in that case, being as it's already happened, they'll probably ask her family direct versus, it'll be. I don't think it'll be to his family in the United States. I think they'll just say, "Hey, we'll do this, and that," and yeah.
Doggyful says he ain't on walking street, crawling street maybe.
Crawling street, yeah, it's falling apart over there. They're doing a lot of construction, and
LG says I was an idiot. Cheap girls in Astro Park in the 80s. Okay.
oh man,
Again, don't go to Astro Park.
you got to be careful on a
Again,
lot of things.
Astro Park is nice and safe in the daytime, but remember that too. Again, the time of day changes everything.
Honestly, mostly for the most part, I'd be more scared of being in the U.S. with the same scenarios than here. I just think people need the money more. And I think for the most part, what happened down there is not going to happen, but you may get roofied and lose your wallet, and they found the keys to your hotel, went back and got your stuff, and all that would be the worst case scenario. But if you just take some precaution and don't go off with strangers, don't believe that there's a Diddy party going on somewhere because someone said, "Hey, Diddy got out of jail and here's a party." But I'm just joking about that. But I just would take a lot of caution. Again, I would almost say that being in the U.S. is worse than some things that go on here, but never underestimate.
Daddy says I remember when Astro Park was a military amusement park with fair rides. Yes. I don't know why they stopped doing that. Hillbilly Pyro says I know Philippines has crazy huge snails. My yard's full of them, about 5 inches long, big shells. No. They're huge here. They're huge. No, he's not joking.
Oh yeah, we got a couple that are out here by the little garden box or whatever. Poor guy hooked up to have a little lovemaking match with somebody, and he got dried out in the sun. He was huge.
Simon says I've never been to Wall Street, but I don't plan on it. But I would think it's similar to Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Yeah, I would say exact same thing. Exact same thing.
Angelo says I lived in Casell residence with barangay. Safe stay home after McDonald's.
That storm is showing 50 knots. I said when it hits northern Luzon, it's basically a strong thunderstorm, not a typhoon. It's pretty safe in this area. By the time most of those storms and things hit here, it'll do some small flooding and different things, but this is why we chose this area. So we hold tight to why we stay in certain areas. So
Thaddeus says Southern girls pull the wool over your eyes. It's a Sulu area. Yeah. My friends lived in Las Piñas slums. It was okay for a while. Then I left, not safe.
Sock puppet is for the lesson, because there is a lot of people that are over a certain age. And I have to say that because when people got involved in computers and computer terms and all of that, I didn't realize how serious the game of trolling could be till I got into YouTube. But trolls troll everybody. They troll companies, products. Like there are people that hate Gucci. They'll go to the Gucci website and they'll say all kinds of stupid stuff and try to cause problems. It's been there since the beginning of time. There are even companies that exist that have employees, let's say in India, that will just go out politically to destroy people. So it's just something that's out there, and it's just part of being in social media. And that's something that we've both learned, and it's always evolving. Everybody does. The P has people think, oh no, not the P. Yes, even the sweetest channels, sweetest people, sweet little old lady channels, they'll find one thing, they focus. So trolls are trolls. They basically,
They
you guys,
exist in any channel, even gardening channels, believe it or not. Gardening channels, for crying
right.
out loud, get
So
trolled.
they're just in there. There's nothing wrong with some negative comments that are in general. You watch a few of them come through, and then we have like a 3-strike policy. You keep going in there with the same thing like that, then of course we're actually not going to keep it in there. But sock puppet accounts are basically where they just create a bunch of other names. Okay, this is very common that the vloggers that actually have created 7, 8 accounts with different names. So it may look like they've had that account for 4 years or something. And they don't use it to troll. They might just go into the room and make comments under it. So basically, most of the time, the sock puppet accounts are not harmful. Like, we'll give an example, just putting you out there, Neil. Neil could be Every Man Has a Story right now. And in here actually just watching and commenting and just wants to be Neil. We don't mind the ones that could be other people coming in to conversate. They can even come in and say something, a little unconstructive, constructive. They could come in and just, say, hey, I don't like your posters behind you. It doesn't mean we're going to block you. There are channels that'll do that because you said something, but we don't take offense to that. It's when the other comments come in from people that just troll. They want to come in and do harm. They want to do harm to this. And we usually don't go in explaining that, but
Neil says the NPA has asked for
Neil.
money from where my fiance worked. They said there was no cash, so I guess sometimes they do ask for cash. Focus Nation says still pockets of NPA everywhere, supposedly still around Angeles and Mount Orion area. Yes, actually stated that earlier. Again, depends on where you're at. Yes, there's some no-go zones in Riot. Correct.
And we don't even mind actual trolls. I mean, we're like on board with that. We know they seriously go round to 20 different channels, and we said just because we see people at other channels or on other social media or other things, we don't have that problem. They have it. There's just,
No second when I disagree with you, George. We should hang out at Astro Park. It was the mystery machine with a sign says free Scooby snack.
Snap.
I mean, you say free lube, not free Scooby snack. That's where I disagree on.
Disagrees on that.
Yeah. Free baby oil.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the new generation won't tolerate the trolling at all. Everybody, I think, at some point has done a level of trolling. You know what I did yesterday? I was on TikTok, right? About 11 o'clock after George fell asleep. And they have these guys that either appear to be Korean or Japanese, right? And there's have you ever seen the girls where there's 6 or 7 of them and they put the one girl up there that'll dance and they'll say, well, show support and they want you to give sticker money for girl number 1. Do you want her up front or in the back? They had a bunch of the guys and all of them were horrible dancers and all of them didn't look, I don't know, there just was something about that group. So they were trying to get people to do something and bring up certain numbers. So I was like, okay, I'll throw a number out. I'm bored right now. So I threw some numbers out to bring up the same person. And then I put like number 5. And then I said something like, that guy up front can't dance. They took that as a serious troll. They blocked me. They said they can read your comments. And then I got blocked. So they didn't even wait. We're not like that. We don't mind if you I think the newer generation's getting even softer.
They get blocked easier.
Yeah. So it's
Barrett
like,
Timothea says
Bet they
Astro
would've
Park is a
considered
building
that
site
trolling.
at the moment. Correct. There's a lot of construction going on there, but not all of it. So certain parts are still kind of parky.
There's a lot going
But
on.
yes, there's a lot of renovations going on over there.
Yeah.
Thaddeus says
There
I
it
hate
is.
Taylor Swift in the oil.
Yeah.
Thaddeus says illegal SIM card. There you go.
Well, yeah. A lot of them will get that and create 20 accounts. But all right, guys, we have to wrap this up. Too much going on today. We appreciate everybody coming in.
Thank you so much, Chosen One. Appreciate your help and support, and appreciate you for showing up and attending our live. Thank you also for Mike for being there with us. For California Bear,
Yes,
Thank you so
California
much for being with
Bear,
us, too.
Sarah and
Yes, Ted
Ted,
and Sarah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Salem,
Salem, the realtor, with us today. Focus on Asia with us today, along with Barry in the PIA. Very, thank
Thaddeus,
you. Victorious was with us today too.
LG,
Yes,
Hillbilly
LG, Hillbilly
Pyro,
Pyro, Angelo, Stefan, Manny C was with us today. Appreciate it. So, Bisayan Cano was with us today. Thank you so much. Lou and Boss Herbie, Foreign A was with us today. Although you're pretty much quiet today. Surfing Blackies.
Baby. Oh yeah,
Leonard Whistler,
we released that
Doug
video
Medler,
for
yes. Yes, thanks so much. Bear in the Philippines.
you.
Thank you so
Brian,
much. Paul in the Philippines. Thank you so much.
Mr.
Appreciate it so much.
Merciful,
Mr. Merciful. Victor C was with us, eh?
Angela.
Second win, of course. Someone says, you all have a good day. Focus on Asia says, have a good one, people. Salem Realtor says, salamat po. Thanks so much.
And
Angelo says, see you
and
tomorrow.
on Thursday, for those that are still hanging in there, we see 64 people. We will be covering the
No
Armstrong.
news. I checked. Night all.
Yeah,
Thanks
we'll
so
be
much,
covering
guys.
the Armstrong, that divorce, things that he said, reaction as me as an American woman. I don't know if we're going to put up like the video and break it down like we did the Rafi Tulfo, or just take certain points, but he sure said a lot. And there's a lot going on, his legal documents. So being that was a very popular, that was actually, their stuff was more popular than any of the other stuff that happened. I was telling George, it was one of our, even over Expat John and all that, the people really ate that up. It's still running right now as far as.
Well, you have to realize, because again, it's more, what's that? It's more relatable.
Well, it's going to be relatable now. To me, it's just a relationship that went bad. And
Well, that's
the
what I'm saying.
toxicity
It's
was
more
everywhere.
relatable. It's
So.
a bad relationship versus some guy who says that he's been warned, and then it's more relatable.
Yeah, and now he's really spilling tea now that he's there. And I didn't think he would do or say, but it'd be interesting. So, but we'll cover that and the divorce and everything next time.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. Love you all.
All right, bye guys.